Chapter 1638, 1638. The endless tombs. Time slowly passed. 1 hour after another. They had walked for a full day, but they were still in the passage. It was as if the passage really had no end. But at this point no one would give up. Everyone continued to move forward. Very quickly, 10 days had passed, and they were still moving forward in the passageway. At this time, many people frowned. No matter how patient they were, they couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Was this passage really leading to the tomb of the Reincarnation King? However, since they had already come this far, it was impossible for them to retreat. They could only continue forward. Soon, another 5 days passed. I can see the end. Suddenly, someone shouted in excitement. In front of them, the passage was finally about to end. From a distance, it seemed to be a land of darkness. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. They had walked for half a month in a passageway with nothing. The key was that they had no idea how long they had to walk. This was a test of their patience. Fortunately, they were all peerless geniuses who had dared to come to the 100-clan battlefield to temper themselves. They were outstanding in all aspects, and they naturally didn't lack patience. That was why they had been able to persevere until now. Let's go! Immediately, everyone's spirits were lifted. They began to speed up and rush forward, afraid that if they were one step slower than others, the opportunity would be taken by others. Lu Ming and Huang Ling also sped up. Very soon, they rushed out of the passage and stepped into a land of darkness. As soon as they rushed out of the tunnel, they felt their bodies lighten. The pressure disappeared, and they regained their ability to fly. However, after everyone rushed out of the tunnel, they all stood in the air and looked ahead in shock. The grave. What entered their eyes were all tombs. They were densely packed, and they didn't know how many there were. At a glance, it was boundless. These tombs were of different sizes. Some of them were just mounds, while others were as large as mountains. How could this be? Why are there so many tombs here? Isn't it the tomb of the Reincarnation King? Someone asked doubtfully. There were so many tombs. Could it be that the tomb of the Reincarnation King was among them and he had to search for it one by one? These tombs might also bury important figures and have treasures. Someone murmured, causing everyone's eyes to light up. That's right, those who could be buried here probably didn't have small origins. There might be treasures here. Then, with so many here, wouldn't he be rich? Buzz, buzz, and NBSP whoosh. Instantly they moved. One figure after another scuttled out and rushed toward the tombs. They were searching for their target. Each of them found a tomb and rushed over. Be careful! Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Huang Ling. He had a feeling that things were not as simple as they seemed. The two of them carefully moved forward and flew into the area of the grave. However, just as they were approaching the graves closest to them began to glow. Then figures emerged from the graves. Kill! Kill! There were men and women, young and old among these figures. Many of them were not even human, but they all roared and charged at Lu Ming and the others. The terrifying power was shocking. One of the heaven's favorites was not careful and was pierced by the spear. If he did not retreat quickly, he would have died. A terrifying sword light shot towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming threw a punch and it collided with the sword light. With a clang, the sword light was sent flying, and Lu Ming felt his fist go numb. What a terrifying attack! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Kill, kill, kill! The figure that emerged from the grave roared continuously and charged towards them. These figures were not corporeal and looked like phantoms. The Golden Crow 10th Prince was attacked by a giant bull. He transformed into his true form and fought with the giant bull. His battle power was shocking, and he tore the giant bull into pieces in one move. But the shocking thing was that the giant bull didn't die. It reformed and attacked the Golden Crow 10th Prince. The others were in the same situation. Even if they destroyed the phantoms, they would reform. The one who attacked Lu Ming was an illusory human figure that looked like an old man. The sword light that was constantly released was extremely mysterious and enveloped Lu Ming's entire body. Lu Ming cast the 10,000 soldiers' art. He held the Black Dragon Spear and thrust out Cui Zhang's spear radiance, which collided with the sword radiance. After exchanging dozens of blows, Lu Ming's spear shattered the figure. However, the figure immediately condensed again. These are formed from the immortal fighting spirit of the experts after their death. They are undying. There must be peerless experts buried under these tombs. Someone said. "I'll break it and see." Zhao Kuang let out a furious roar and forced the figure that was attacking him to retreat. He then attacked a large tomb at the side. Boom! The terrifying attack landed on the tomb, but the tomb didn't move at all. It wasn't damaged at all. However, at this moment, a shocking scene appeared. Beams of light shot out from the tomb and directly wrapped around Zhao Kuang. Zhao Kuang struggled madly, but it was useless. Then, with a bang, one of his arms exploded. Help me, Zhao Kuang cried out in fear. However, before he could finish his sentence, his entire body exploded with a bang. Blood splattered on the large tomb, and his body and soul were destroyed. This. The crowd gasped. A powerful Heaven's favorite had died just like that because he had attacked the tomb. These tombs all have terrifying nomological powers. As long as you attack the tombs, you will be attacked by the nomological powers. Yi Dongfang said with a serious face. That's right. The laws of this tomb are invincible. Once you're entangled, you'll die. Someone else said. Many people felt a lingering fear. It was a good thing that Zhao Kuang had attacked the tomb first, otherwise, they would have been the ones to die. This was especially true for Sima Liang. He had been with Zhao Kuang the entire time and had almost attacked just now. However, Zhao Kuang had been a step faster than him. When he saw the abnormality in the tomb, he had stopped his attack and avoided the disaster. It seemed like they couldn't attack this tomb at all. If they did, they would die. Perhaps only the tomb of the reincarnation emperor could be opened? Everyone thought to themselves. Then, they began to search for the tomb of the reincarnation emperor while fending off the attacks of the shadows. However, they couldn't find the tomb of the reincarnation king after searching for a long time. And if this continued, it would be very disadvantageous for them, as their true qi would be completely consumed. There is a path ahead. Keep going forward. Maybe the tomb of the reincarnation king is right in front of that path. Jiangchen said. Someone said. Many people nodded. They had all seen that path. However, on both sides of the road, there were two particularly huge tombs, far above the other tombs. This made many people pay attention and not rashly go up. If you guys don't go, I'll go. The Taotai opened its mouth and rushed towards the path. Buzz. Buzz. The two particularly large tombs lit up, and two figures appeared. A true dragon and a phoenix emitted a terrifying aura. Moreover, these two figures were much more solid than the other illusory figures. Chapter 1639, 1639 The Netherworld, helplessly Meng Peror. The shadow of the true dragon roared and pounced at the Tao. Its huge dragon claw smashed down at the Taotai. The Taotai roared and transformed into its true form. It also struck out with its claw. However, the result was that the Taotai's body shook violently and was directly sent flying by the true dragon's illusory figure. It retreated a dozen steps and spat out a mouthful of blood. The Taotai was injured by the true dragon's shadow in one move. It was shocking. The Taotai's combat strength was definitely at the peak among them. If it used its full power, it could definitely fight against a Saint Realm expert. However, it was no match for him and was injured in one move. Buzz. The phoenix screeched and pounced towards the Taotai, scaring the Taotai into retreating, not daring to fight. The true dragon and phoenix shadows flew above their respective tombs, but they didn't pursue. It's so powerful. How can it pass? He's definitely stronger than an ordinary Saint Realm expert. He's no match for him alone. Many people's faces turned ugly. He had gone through so much to reach this point, but was he going to stop here? Everyone, the only way to pass through this path is to join forces. Let's join forces and charge through together. Otherwise, no one will be able to pass through alone. Huang Ling spoke. She joined forces with Lu Ming to defeat a shadow and stepped forward. That's right, we can only join forces now. The 10th Golden Crow Prince said. All right, I agree. I also agree. The others chimed in one after another. Just now, everyone was still on guard against each other, but now, they had no choice but to join forces again. Because if they didn't join forces, they could only stop here. Everyone broke through the illusionary figures and converged towards the path. After a while, everyone was gathered together. Let's charge. Buzz, buzz, and NBSP whoosh. There were more than 40 people, and they rushed towards the intersection. All of them were heaven's spiritual bodies, and they came from different monarch-level forces. The true dragon roared and the phoenix let out a long cry as they pounced toward the crowd. Kill! More than 40 heaven's favorites attacked together. All kinds of light exploded. When they combined together, it was extremely terrifying. All kinds of attacks collided with the true dragon and phoenix shadows. They were unstoppable and destroyed the true dragon and phoenix shadows in an instant, drowning them in their own. Bang, bang. The true dragon and phoenix shadows collapsed. This is a good opportunity. Charge. All of the heaven's favorites took this opportunity to rush towards the entrance. In the blink of an eye, more than 40 of them had made it past the two tombs. The true dragon and phoenix shadows immediately gathered together again. However, they did not continue to attack them. Instead, they roared and flew into the tomb, disappearing. Just a wisp of immortal fighting intent has reached the Saint Realm. I wonder how terrifying he was when he was alive? Could it be that he had reached the Emperor rank? Is there an Emperor-level true dragon buried in this tomb? Lu Ming looked at the large tomb, a fiery light flashing in his eyes. If he could obtain the bone armor of an Emperor-level true dragon and refine it, what level would his spirit body evolve to? Would he evolve into a superior-grade heavenly spiritual body in one go? Of course, he was only thinking about it. The tomb was filled with terrifying power of laws. Zhao Kuang had just ended up like that. He naturally didn't dare to attack the tomb. Everyone let out a long breath and followed the path forward. Not long after, a river blocked his path. The strange thing was that the water of this river was yellow, like the legendary river of hell, the Yellow Spring. Is this really the Yellow Spring River? Suddenly, someone spoke, his voice trembling. Because there was a stone tablet there. When everyone looked at it, they saw two words written on the stone tablet, Yellow Springs. Everyone looked at each other and saw shock and fear in each other's eyes. According to the ancient legends, there was a 9 serenities hell between heaven and earth. In the hell, there was a river that ran across the hell. It was called the Yellow Spring. The Yellow Spring was untraversable because once one entered it, no matter what living being it was, they would be corroded by the water and become a part of the Yellow Spring. However, all of this was just a legend. No one had ever seen an emperor-ranked expert. Could it be that the Netherworld and the 9 serenities hell really existed? Even the Golden Crow 10th Prince and the Taodai, who were both unruly, had serious expressions on their faces. No one dared to rashly attempt to cross the Yellow Springs. If they crossed the river like the legendary Yellow Spring, it would be equivalent to suicide. There's a bridge over there. Someone pointed ahead and shouted. Everyone looked over and saw a bridge ahead. Everyone walked along the shore of the Yellow Spring. When they got closer, they found that the bridge was very wide and led directly to the other side of the Yellow Spring. There were 3 words carved on the bridge. The Bridge of Helplessness. The sound of gasping could be heard, and everyone felt a chill in their hearts. According to the legends, there was a bridge of helplessness above the Yellow Spring. If one wanted to cross the Yellow Spring, they had to cross the Bridge of Helplessness. He didn't expect that there really was a Bridge of Helplessness. The Yellow Springs and the Bridge of Helplessness were just like the legends. Could it be that this place led to the 9 serenities hell? Even though they were all geniuses from emperor-ranked powers and had seen many things, they still felt a chill down their spines. Legend has it that on the Bridge of Helplessness, there is a Mengpa holding a bowl of soup. Anyone who crosses the bridge has to drink it. After drinking it, they forget everything. Could there be a Mengpa on the Bridge of Helplessness? Someone said, his voice trembling. All of this is just an illusion. Someone deliberately set it up. If there really was a netherworld, why would it appear here? The 10th Golden Crow Prince snorted coldly. His entire body was covered in the golden divine fire of the great sun. He stepped onto the bridge of helplessness and headed towards the other side. That's right. This should be the burial ground of the reincarnation emperor. It can't be the true netherworld. How can it stop me? Then, someone else spoke and stepped forward. Huang Ling, let's go too. Lu Ming said. Huang Ling nodded. The two of them walked side by side and stepped onto the bridge of helplessness. Seeing this, the others also followed. Although they didn't believe it, they were still cautious and on guard. Where did the souls of the ancient heroes go? All of a sudden, a leisurely voice rang out. It came from an unknown place and rang in everyone's ears. Who is it? Someone was shocked and shouted. Where did the souls of the ancient heroes go? The voice continued to ring out, seemingly filled with helplessness and sighs. As the group continued to move forward, that voice continued to ring out. But all this time, it was only this one sentence that repeated itself. Everyone held their breath and paid no attention to this voice. They continued forward, and soon, they would cross the bridge of helplessness. But at this moment, everyone stopped. There was a figure at the end of the bridge. An old woman. The old woman was very old. Her back was hunched, and she wore a loose black robe. Her hair was white, and the wrinkles on her face were like mountains. She was holding a bowl in her hand. In the bowl, there was a milky white liquid. A name appeared in everyone's mind. Chapter 1640, 1640 Drinking Grandma Meng's soup and entering Samsara Gulu. At the thought of the name Meng Pa, many people swallowed their saliva. Was there really a Meng Pa on the bridge of helplessness? Some of them had already broken out in cold sweat. The netherworld, the bridge of helplessness, and Meng Pa. Everything was in line with the legend. Senior, who are you? The 10th Golden Crow Prince was bathed in the great sun divine fire. His eyes were serious as he cupped his fist towards the old woman. The old woman revealed a faint smile and glanced at the 10th Golden Crow Prince. The bridge of helplessness on the Yellow Spring River. Naturally Mengpa. Is she really Mengpa? Many people's hearts trembled. This was the tomb of the reincarnation king. Why would there be the netherworld bridge of helplessness and Mengpa? Did this place really lead to hell? Senior, is that reincarnation? Lu Ming suddenly asked. This was because there was no path in front of the bridge of helplessness, only a pitch-black vortex. That's right. That's samsara. You can enter samsara after you drink Grandma Meng's soup and forget about your past and present lives, said Mengpa as she lifted the bowl in her hand. Reincarnation. Reincarnation. The tomb of the reincarnation emperor is right in front of us. Someone asked. That's right. Mengpa smiled. Haha, it's indeed the tomb of the samsara king. The netherworld is all fake. I'm going to meditate in the tomb of the samsara king. The 10th Golden Crow Prince laughed and strode forward. But Mengpa stood in front of him. Young man, she said, if you want to enter samsara, you must drink Meng Pio's soup. Forget your past life and this life. Only then can you enter samsara. Get lost, no one can make me forget my past and present life. The Golden Crow 10th Prince was extremely domineering. He struck out with his palm, and the terrifying godly sunfire rushed toward Mengpa. However, Mengpa waved her hand and the Golden Crow 10th Prince's fire was extinguished. The Golden Crow 10th Prince's eyes narrowed and he transformed into his three-legged Golden Crow form. His body was covered in terrifying flames, like a sun. He flapped his wings and wanted to rush past Mengpa and enter the dark vortex. The young man is too impulsive, Mengpa murmured. She reached out a withered hand and grabbed at the 10th Golden Crow Prince. The dried-up claw quickly grew in size, becoming as large as a mountain as it struck towards the 10th Golden Crow Prince. The Golden Crow 10th Prince seemed to have been frozen in place, unable to move at all as he was caught by the withered hand. Damn it! Let's attack together and rush over. The 10th Golden Crow Prince roared. Buzz! A figure rushed forward at extreme speed, wanting to take this opportunity to rush over. He was also a terrifying young man, no weaker than the 10th Crown Prince of the Golden Crow. However, a silk ribbon flew out of Meng Pio's sleeve and wrapped around the young man. The others were shocked. They had wanted to take the opportunity to attack, but they couldn't help but stop. The other party was too terrifying. Even someone as powerful as the Golden Crow 10th Prince couldn't put up any resistance and was captured right away. The other person was the same. The two of them struggled with all their might, but it was of no use. "Senior, spare me, spare me." The Golden Crow 10th Prince was scared and began to beg for mercy. "What are you afraid of? I won't kill you." Mengpa opened her mouth and grabbed the Golden Crow 10th Prince in front of her. Then, she poured the bowl of Mengpa soup into the Golden Crow 10th Prince's mouth. "Don't!" the 10th Golden Crow Prince roared. If he would forget everything after drinking Grandma Meng's soup, would he still be himself? Wouldn't that be the same as death? How could he be willing to drink it? However, his struggles were of no use. His mouth opened on its own, and a bowl of Mengpa soup was poured into the Golden Crow 10th Prince's mouth. Then, his eyes revealed a look of confusion. "Go, enter the cycle of reincarnation." Mengpa waved her hand, and the Golden Crow 10th Prince flew directly into the black vortex and disappeared. Then, everyone saw that the bowl of Mengpio's soup in Mengpio's hand, which was originally empty, was now automatically filled up. Mengpa did the same thing. She poured a bowl of Mengpio's soup into another young man's mouth and then threw him into the dark vortex. "Now it's your turn. Come, drink Grandma Meng's soup and enter the cycle of reincarnation." Mengpa looked at Lu Ming and the rest. Many people broke out in cold sweat. "Senior, I won't go to the tomb of the reincarnation king. I'm leaving." Someone said. If he lost all his memories after drinking Grandma Meng's soup, what was the point of receiving the inheritance of the reincarnation emperor? Since you're here, there's no reason to retreat. All of you will drink Meng Pio's soup and enter the cycle of reincarnation. Meng Pio's shriveled voice sounded. "No, I'm not going, I quit." A few people shouted and retreated like lightning. "I said, since you're here, you can't leave." Mengpa said indifferently. She reached out her hand and grabbed in the air. The people who were retreating seemed to be fixed in place. Their bodies were fixed in the air, and then they flew toward Mengpa under the effect of a powerful force. Just like before, Mengpa drank a bowl of Mengpa soup and threw it all into the black vortex. "Lu Ming, what should we do?" Huang Ling sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Her pretty face was a little pale. "This Mengpa is too strong. We can't resist her at all." Lu Ming shook his head. The Golden Crow 10th Prince and the others were like babies in Meng Pio's hands. They could not fight back at all. Meng Pio's strength was definitely beyond their imagination. They had no chance at all. Even if Lu Ming went all out with Bubble's help, he would not have any chance of escaping. The difference was too great. "Are we really going to drink Grandma Meng's soup and forget about our past and present lives?" said Huang Ling, revealing an unwilling expression. "Huang Ling, do you believe that this is the true netherworld, Mengpa?" Lu Ming did not answer but asked Huang Ling instead. Huang Ling was stunned and pondered. What the netherworld can do to Mengpa is just a legend. It's in the 9 Serenities hell. Legend has it that the 9 Serenities hell is in the heaven realm. Heaven realm? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He did not think much about it and said, "That's right. That's why I feel that this place is man-made. Perhaps it's just a test and they might not really lose their memories. So, we can only take a gamble." "Take a gamble?" "That's right. Since I can't escape, I'll take a gamble. I'll be leaving first." With that, Lu Ming stepped out and strode toward Mengpa. Many people were shocked. Lu Ming actually took the initiative to step forward? "Little fellow, please." Mengpa picked up the soup in her hand. "All right." Lu Ming was very direct. He picked up the bowl of Mengpa's soup and drank it in one gulp. Then he returned the bowl to Mengpa and leaped into the dark vortex. "I'll do it." Then, a burly young man walked out. It was Yi Dongfang. Obviously, Lu Ming was not the only bold person. Like Lu Ming, Yi Dongfang drank the Mengpa soup and jumped into the vortex. After that, Huang Ling stepped out and drank the soup before jumping into the whirlpool. The others' expressions changed, but they also understood that there was no way out today. They could only drink Grandma Meng's soup and then step forward one by one. Not long after, all the elites who had entered had jumped into the black vortex. After everyone had jumped into the black vortex, Meng Pio's body on the bridge of helplessness disappeared like an illusion, as if she had never been there. Chapter 1641. 1641 Experiencing 9 Lives, Reincarnation Emperor. After Lu Ming jumped into the vortex, he felt dizzy and more confused. Gradually, he fell into darkness and could not feel anything. After an unknown period of time, Lu Ming gradually regained his consciousness. He slowly opened his eyes. His eyes revealed the vicissitudes of life, as if he had experienced the vicissitudes of life. He actually experienced 9 lives and 9 reincarnations. Could it be that reincarnation really exists in the world? Lu Ming muttered to himself, his eyes filled with complicated emotions. At this moment, a series of images appeared in his mind. He remembered everything. He drank the Mengpa soup, jumped into the whirlpool, and fell into the darkness. After that, he experienced 9 lives. In his first life, he was born into a family of generals in the empire. From a young age, he led the army to war and conquered the world. When he was middle-aged, he became the defender general of the empire, who had a large number of troops in his hands. However, he was suspected by the emperor and he killed Lu Ming on a false charge. Then he was reincarnated. In his second life, he became a scholar from a poor family. He was determined to be the top scorer, but he fell in love with a noble family's daughter when he was the top scorer. In the end, he was secretly killed by the noble family. And then it was the third life. In this life, he became an ordinary person, a villager of a small village. He married and had children. The men worked the fields while the women weaved. In the end, he had a house full of children and grandchildren. His hair was white and he died of old age. The fourth life. The fifth life. In his 9th life, he became a good-for-nothing who couldn't awaken his bloodline. His bloodline was dug out by his childhood sweetheart, and then he accidentally obtained the supreme shrine and embarked on the martial path. Later on, when he awakened the third bloodline let out a loud roar. He woke up all of a sudden, as if his reincarnation had ended. The 9th life is my own experience, and it's exactly the same as my own experience. Is there really reincarnation in this world, or have I awakened the memories of the previous 8 lives? Lu Ming muttered. He was shocked and confused. He could not tell what was real and what was fake. Then, was his life also one of the reincarnations? Was everything he had experienced all along the way real or fake? Little guy, I didn't expect you to wake up after experiencing 9 lives. This is really beyond my expectations. At this moment, an old voice entered Lu Ming's ears. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then looked around. He was in a huge secret chamber, and an old man in black was walking toward him. Senior, who are you? Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, In the past, everyone called me Samsara. The old man smiled. Reincarnation. You are the Reincarnation Emperor. Lu Ming could not help but exclaim. His mind slowly cleared up. Could it be that the Reincarnation Emperor was still alive? Well, you can say that. But now, it's only a wisp of a soul. The old man said with a smile. Lu Ming took a closer look and realized that the other party was not a physical entity. It was more like a shadow or a wisp of soul. Senior Samsara, is there really such a thing as samsara in this world? Lu Ming asked. In his mind, fragments of those 9 lives flashed past from time to time. Does reincarnation really exist in this world? I don't know. The Reincarnation Emperor sighed. You don't know either? Lu Ming was puzzled. It was said that the Reincarnation Emperor controlled the law of reincarnation, which was one of the strongest laws in the world. It was on par with the law of chaos. Did he not know about reincarnation? Then were the 9 lives he had experienced real or fake? How could it be so real? Little guy, do you have any doubts about your previous experience? In fact, that was not really reincarnation. It was just a reflection in the depths of your heart. You can understand it as a kind of illusion, or rather, it could also be that it awakened the memories of your previous life, said the Reincarnation Emperor. So there's no reincarnation in this world. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief and his mind regained its calm. It's hard to say. Maybe when my cultivation reaches a high enough level, I can really reincarnate. Unfortunately, my cultivation level is not high enough. The reincarnation emperor sighed and looked at Lu Ming. Little guy, what's your name? You're the first one to wake up in your group. I thought that the strongest one among you would have to experience hundreds of lives before waking up. You're really strange. I'm Lu Ming. Senior, how long have I been here? Lu Ming asked. You've been here for 3 months, said the reincarnation emperor. 3 months? That's good. Lu Ming felt relieved. He had experienced 9 lives, and it felt like he had experienced a long time. He had comprehended the different lives of 9 lives. He was still afraid, but in reality, he had also experienced a long time. 3 months was still fine. Senior, did you build this tomb? There's also the helpless yellow springs from before. Lu Ming then asked a bunch of questions. He was really curious. Of course not. I was almost gone in that battle. Later on, a peerless master came here and built a tomb for me. He also saved a wisp of my soul. Everything outside was done by that master. Perhaps he didn't want me to waste my life's knowledge, so he left a tomb for me to pass on my legacy. The reincarnation emperor explained. As expected, Lu Ming muttered. He had heard of the legend before. It was said that after the 100 Clan War, an unparalleled expert came to the 100 Clan battlefield and cultivated 9 of the strongest great emperors into 9 graves. The 1,000 Kills martial emperor from the 1,000 Kills mansion had entered one of the great emperor's tombs and obtained the inheritance. It seemed that the netherworld helplessness from before was indeed fake. It was a trap set up by that peerless expert. Lu Ming, you cultivate the 9 dragons combat body, right? Speaking of which, you have some connections with that unparalleled expert. That expert is one of the top 10 war beasts, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, said the reincarnation emperor. 9 lives devilish silkworm. Lu Ming was shocked. According to Dandan, the top 10 war beasts had all been killed in a battle a long time ago, but now it seemed that things were not that simple. Through a special method, Dandan managed to keep her life. After that, Lu Ming saw the Titan Longhorn. He heard that the 9 lives devilish silkworm was still alive. Perhaps, many of the top 10 war beasts still existed in this world. What a pity, what a pity. At this moment, the reincarnation emperor looked at Lu Ming carefully and sighed. Senior, what's a pity? Lu Ming was puzzled. You were the first to wake up after experiencing 9 lives. You could have received my inheritance, mastered the reincarnation domain, and then comprehended the reincarnation law. Unfortunately, you have already comprehended the chaos domain. Chaos and reincarnation are one of the 10 strongest laws in the world. Just like how a mountain cannot contain 2 tigers, they are difficult to control and fuse at the same time. The reincarnation emperor sighed and explained in detail. Cultivators, after cultivating to a certain realm, could control many laws at the same time. However, there were 10 ultimate maxims in the world that were difficult to control at the same time. Since ancient times, only rare geniuses and peerless talents could control one of them. It was impossible to control 2 or more. Chapter 1642 Breakthrough to Half-Saint, Chaotic Chi. After listening to the explanation of the reincarnation emperor, Lu Ming felt that it was a pity. At the same time, he was shocked. In the world, there were actually 9 laws that could be on par with chaos. In the past, Lu Ming did not know about this at all. It seemed that he still knew too little. Senior, perhaps in the future, there will be someone suitable for Senior's inheritance. Lu Ming said. Although it was a pity, he could only give up. He couldn't possibly give up the chaos domain and switch to reincarnation, right? That was impossible. There's no time left. This wisp of my soul can't exist for long. The reincarnation emperor sighed. Then, a crystal-like object appeared in his hand. Laws revolved around it and it was extremely wonderful. Lu Ming looked at it as if he was looking at a whole new world. Lu Ming, this is my world core. It contains all my inheritance. Take it. If you meet a suitable person in the future, help me pass it on. This is my last wish. The reincarnation emperor said with a sigh. The fact that a great emperor had fallen into such a state was truly lamentable. Senior, Lu Ming will definitely find the most suitable successor for you and pass it on. Lu Ming's gaze was firm. He then took the world core from the reincarnation emperor and put it away solemnly. Many thanks. The reincarnation emperor smiled and said, "Little guy, since you are the first one to wake up, how can I let you return empty-handed? This reincarnation halberd is for you." The reincarnation emperor's palm glowed, and a halberd appeared. This reincarnation halberd used to be my combat weapon, but it has been severely damaged and has no power left. However, I have sealed 2 forces inside it. If these 2 forces were to be fully unleashed, they can kill any expert below the emperor realm, said the reincarnation emperor. It can kill any expert below the emperor rank. Lu Ming was shocked, then ecstatic. Such a treasure was simply heaven-defying. At a critical moment, it was a treasure that could definitely turn the tables and save his life. That's right. Of course, there are only 2 forces. Once you use them, there's no more. Take them. The reincarnation emperor passed the reincarnation halberd to Lu Ming, who accepted it with joy. Okay, they'll send you out now, said the reincarnation emperor. Senior, can I stay here for a while? I want to cultivate here, Lu Ming said. Previously, he had experienced 9 lifetimes. Those scenes were like 9 real lives. Lu Ming had learned a lot. He felt that he was about to make a breakthrough in the chaos realm. One more step and he would be a half-saint. As long as he broke through to the half-saint realm, his strength would skyrocket. He would have more confidence when he went out. It's fine, you can continue to cultivate, said the reincarnation emperor. Lu Ming nodded and then sat cross-legged. He took out the Path Understanding Ancient Tree and started to comprehend it quietly. The Path Understanding Ancient Tree? It seems like this little fellow has more secrets than I thought. The reincarnation emperor was stunned for a moment, and then he smiled. The chaos domain on Lu Ming's body was shaking up and down. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. Boom. The chaos domain on Lu Ming's body suddenly trembled violently and then expanded with an imposing aura. The ultimate domain. After going through 9 reincarnations, Lu Ming had an epiphany and finally made a breakthrough in the chaos domain to the extreme. The ultimate primal chaos domain was much more powerful than a level 9 primal chaos domain. As soon as the chaos realm was broken through, the essential core in Lu Ming's body also went berserk. It whistled and jumped, its speed increasing. His cultivation base was about to break through. Lu Ming waved his hand and a large pile of mid-grade raw gemstones appeared on the ground. Lu Ming circulated the devouring power and devoured the raw gemstones madly, beginning to refine them. 3 days later, Lu Ming had already refined an unknown number of raw gemstones. His aura suddenly increased explosively, forming a primordial chi pillar that shot straight to the top of the secret chamber. However, this secret chamber was very sturdy. Lu Ming's essential core chi column rushed to the top and there was no reaction at all. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes. He had finally broken through to the first stage of half-saint. After breaking through to the half-saint realm, his combat strength had increased dramatically. He was now confident that he could suppress the Taotai alone. Little guy, I almost forgot. I can see a trace of chaos chi in your body. Let me give you another opportunity. The reincarnation emperor appeared and walked over. A stream of chi appeared in his hand and started to circle around his arm. This is the real chaos chi. Lu Ming's eyes widened in shock. He could immediately sense that the current on the arm of the reincarnation emperor was the real chaotic chi. Although he cultivated the chaos domain, he had never seen true chaos chi. That's right. This is a wisp of true chaotic chi. I obtained it before the Great War. I originally wanted to refine it into the reincarnation halberd, but after the Great War, I gave it up. Now I'll give it to you. Refine it into your spirit body, and the power of your spirit body will be greatly improved. Lu Ming, close your eyes. I'll give you a hand. The reincarnation emperor shouted. Lu Ming quickly closed his eyes and became one with his mind. The reincarnation emperor waved his hand, and a wisp of chaotic chi flew out and entered Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The chi of chaos was the chi of origin between heaven and earth. Even a wisp of it could collapse a mountain. It was extremely heavy. As soon as the chaos chi entered Lu Ming's body, he felt that his body was about to break apart. Hold on, there's a trace of chaos chi in your body. You should be able to refine it. The voice of the reincarnation emperor rang in Lu Ming's ears. Then, a ray of light was emitted from the reincarnation emperor's hand and enveloped Lu Ming. Instantly, Lu Ming felt the pressure on his body lighten. He then focused his mind and began to refine with all his might. Slowly, a wisp of true chaotic chi intertwined with the original wisp of chaotic chi in his body and seeped into Lu Ming's body. His body was slowly becoming stronger. At this moment, on the bridge of helplessness, there were many young men sitting cross-legged. They were Huang Ling, the Golden Crow 10th Prince, the Taoai, and the others. The more than 40 Heaven's favorites who had jumped into the vortex were all here. At this moment, all of the Heaven's favorites opened their eyes, and they were all confused. What's going on? I clearly remember drinking Grandma Meng's soup and jumping into the whirlpool. Why am I still here? Someone asked, full of doubt. I don't know either. I only know that I fell into darkness and lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was already here. The same. The others all nodded. It seemed that they were different from Lu Ming. Lu Ming could remember everything that happened in his 9 reincarnations, but these people seemed to have forgotten. The Golden Crow 10th Prince's body was covered in flames. He stood up and looked around cautiously. When he didn't see Meng Pe, he let out a long breath. It seems like we have come out after entering the reincarnation. Who is it that has obtained the inheritance of the reincarnation emperor? The 10th Golden Crow Prince said coldly. Chapter 1643. All staring at Lu Ming, everyone looked at each other. They also wanted to know who had obtained the inheritance of the reincarnation emperor. The one who obtained the inheritance of the reincarnation emperor must be among us. It's best to tell us. Don't try to keep it for yourself, the Taoai said coldly. His body moved and blocked the bridge of helplessness path of retreat. He stared at the crowd with a ferocious look. The crowd looked at each other in confusion. For a moment, the scene quieted down, and the atmosphere was a little heavy. Before we find out who got the inheritance of the reincarnation emperor, well, stay here. No one can leave. The Taoai was extremely overbearing. There seems to be one person missing from our group. At this moment, a voice rang out. It was Sima Liang, and his gaze turned towards Huang Ling. That's right. One person is missing. Lu Ming is not here, said a young man in black feather clothes. He was young Master Tianying of the Heavenly Bird Palace. Huang Ling's eyes were filled with doubt. Why was Lu Ming not here? It really is so. Could it be that Lu Ming has obtained the legacy and is now accepting it? Maybe he has already left. Some people were making guesses. Well, wait here. If Lu Ming hasn't come out yet, he'll definitely come out later. If he doesn't come out after a while, well, go out and look for him. The 10th Golden Crow Prince's eyes flashed with a sharp light. The reincarnation emperor was a true emperor who could control the law of reincarnation. His inheritance was even more precious than the inheritance of the 1,000-kill martial emperor. Who wouldn't be tempted? Immediately, everyone began to wait quietly on the bridge of helplessness. Lu Ming, on the other hand, was focused on refining the chaos chi. Slowly, a wisp of chaos chi seeped into the depths of Lu Ming's body and spread to every cell, giving every part of Lu Ming's body a wisp of chaos chi. After a few days, Lu Ming finally managed to completely refine the wisp of chaos chi. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and leaped up. What powerful strength! Lu Ming felt that his body was filled with endless power. His punch was heavier than a mountain. He now felt that he could kill a half-saint who had comprehended the laws with his physical strength alone. Lu Ming, although your current spirit body is still a low-grade celestial spirit body, in terms of strength, it's no weaker than a medium-grade celestial spirit body. The voice of the reincarnation emperor could be heard. Many thanks, Senior. Senior, you? Lu Ming stood up and was about to bow to the reincarnation emperor when he realized that the reincarnation emperor's body had become very ethereal, as if he would disappear at any moment. He understood that the Reincarnation Emperor had used up the last of his soul power to help him. "I'm sorry, Senior." Lu Ming's heart was filled with a deep sense of apology. He felt that his nose was a little sour. "Little guy, don't blame yourself. This wisp of my soul was about to dissipate anyway. It has nothing to do with you. Now I'll send you out. Go and roam the world as soon as possible." Then, the Reincarnation Emperor waved his hand. Lu Ming felt his body tighten. He left the secret room and came to an empty place. There was a black vortex in front of him. "Senior, I will definitely find a suitable successor for you so that your legacy can be passed down." Lu Ming secretly swore in his heart and then stepped into the vortex. The next moment, Lu Ming passed through the vortex and a bridge appeared in front of him. It was the Bridge of Helplessness. Lu Ming took a step and stepped onto the Bridge of Helplessness. On the Bridge of Helplessness, everyone's eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. Their eyes were filled with a fiery glow. "Everyone, long time no see, I hope you've been well." Lu Ming smiled. "Lu Ming, you're finally out. Tell me, did you get the inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor?" The 10th Golden Crow Prince emanated a powerful aura and locked onto Lu Ming. "The inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor? Why do you say that?" Lu Ming pretended to be puzzled. "Lu Ming, I knew you would deny it. All of us appeared here at the same time. You're the only one who came out a few days later than the others. You must have obtained the inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor." The Taotai opened its mouth and strode over. "Just because I'm a little later, does it mean that I've obtained the inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor?" Lu Ming said indifferently. "Everyone, it's very simple. As long as we cripple him and search his soul, everything will be clear. At that time, he'll still have to spit out everything." A cold voice rang out. It was Sima Liang. Since the beginning of the fight for the map and key of the tomb of the Samsara King, he had been at a disadvantage in the hands of Lu Ming and Huang Ling. Later on, he and Zhao Kuang wanted to cooperate with Lu Ming and Huang Ling but were chased away by Lu Ming. This was a great humiliation. He had been looking for an opportunity to kill Lu Ming. Now that he had such an opportunity, of course, he would not let it go. He immediately added fuel to the fire. Lu Ming's cold gaze turned to Sima Liang. "You're looking for death." Sima Liang's expression changed, and he was a little frightened. However, when he thought about the fact that there were so many experts present, he became braver and said, "What's wrong? Did I speak your mind? You want to kill me? Humph, there are so many people here, you won't have the chance today." "That's right. Lu Ming, you should hand over the inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor." Young Master Tianying said coldly. Bang! The 10th Golden Crow Prince took a step forward, and his entire body was covered in the divine fire of the Great Sun. "If you don't want to admit it, then I'll search your soul." "Golden Crow, what are you doing? Die!" Huang Ling shouted as the undying flame spread out from her body. Her powerful aura surged towards the 10th Golden Crow Prince. "Huang Ling, you'd better just stand there obediently," the Taotai said coldly. It took a step forward and stood in front of Bai Lin. "Everyone, let's search his soul directly. Other than the inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor, there are other secrets on this person. Let's get them together." Sima Liang clamored, extremely arrogant. "You're looking for death." Lu Ming looked at Sima Liang coldly and took a step forward, walking towards him. "Who do you want to kill? Stay here." The Golden Crow 10th Crown Prince said coldly as he clawed at Lu Ming. However, the will of wind and thunder flashed across Lu Ming's body as he used the thundering wind steps. In a flash, Lu Ming dodged the attack of the 10th Golden Crow Prince and appeared in front of Sima Liang in an instant. Then he stretched out his hand to grab Sima Liang. Sima Liang was shocked. He unleashed all of his cultivation and a heavenly halberd appeared in his hand, which he then swung at Lu Ming. "Kill!" Lu Ming suddenly shouted and used the divine sword technique. 2 black rays of light shot out from his eyes and blasted into Sima Liang's spiritual god. Instantly, Sima Liang screamed in pain and his hands froze. When a martial artist made a breakthrough in their cultivation, they would also take the opportunity to condense their soul, and their soul power would also increase accordingly. When Lu Ming broke through to the first stage of the half-saint, his soul force had also improved. His soul power was already equivalent to the third stage of the half-saint realm. Now that he had improved, he was infinitely close to the soul power of the saint realm. After using the divine sword technique, even if Sima Liang had a spiritual divine defensive treasure, he was still greatly affected. Chapter 1644, 1644 Suppressing the Golden Crow Taodai. Sima Liang's movements paused for a moment. Lu Ming's claw had grabbed his throat. A terrifying force blasted out and surged into Sima Liang's body. Sima Liang's essential core was scattered immediately. The bones in his body crackled and many of them were broken. Release. Let me go. Sima Liang's eyes were filled with fear. I'll let you go. I've already given you a chance. You're the one who's looking for death. I can't help you. Lu Ming said coldly. Lu Ming, you'd better let him go. The 10th Golden Crow Prince said, his eyes shining with golden light and cold killing intent. He was the one who freed Lu Ming from his grasp. He grabbed Sima Liang and made him feel very embarrassed. You want me to let him go? Who do you think you are? Lu Ming looked at the 10th Golden Crow Prince, not giving him any face at all. In his palm, a violent force suddenly burst out. Bang! Sima Liang's body exploded in Lu Ming's hands. Then, he was crushed by the terrifying power and turned into ashes. The others gasped. How could Lu Ming's abilities be so terrifying? Sima Liang's abilities were definitely not weak. He was on par with most of the people at the scene. Yet, he could not even last one move against Lu Ming. He was as weak as a baby and could not fight back at all. Young Master Tianying, in particular, had spoken to Lu Ming earlier and was shivering. It's just a surprise attack by relying on soul attack techniques. You're courting death. Kill. The Golden Crow 10th Crown Prince shouted coldly. With a flash of golden light, he pounced toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming actually dared to berate him? He simply didn't know what death was. The 10th Golden Crow Prince's claws transformed into the Golden Crow's claws, suffused with the divine sun fire. He clawed at Lu Ming, wanting to kill him with a single claw. His aura was terrifying. On the side, Huang Ling wanted to help but was blocked by Tao Tai. The others looked on coldly. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. He stood still and his palm was like a blade, slashing towards the 10th Golden Crow Prince. Lu Ming actually wants to fight the 10th Golden Crow Prince in close combat. He's really looking for death. The body of the Golden Crow is extremely powerful to begin with. The body of the 10th Golden Crow Prince is equivalent to a low-grade celestial spiritual body. Coupled with the infusion of the laws, it is even more terrifying. Lu Ming has no chance of winning in close combat. Some people could not help but mock Lu Ming when they saw that he was going to take the 10th Golden Crow Prince's claw with his palm. Bang! Lu Ming's palm landed on the claws of the 10th Golden Crow Prince, and a metallic sound rang out. The 10th Golden Crow Prince's expression changed drastically. He let out a furious roar and unleashed a flurry of claw shadows. Lu Ming's palms also struck out continuously. In an instant, the two of them clashed head-on and exchanged dozens of moves. But what was even more shocking was that after a few dozen moves, the Golden Crow 10th Prince was forced to retreat. He took a few steps back before he could regain his balance. His palm was trembling slightly and there was blood flowing out. In a head-on confrontation, he was no match for Lu Ming at all. His claws were cracked from the impact. The others were dumbfounded. How was this possible? In a head-on clash, Lu Ming actually had the upper hand in terms of physical strength, and he had injured the 10th Golden Crow Prince. It's my turn. Lu Ming let out a long howl and charged toward the 10th Prince. His chaos domain, which had reached its peak, covered his entire body. He used the prison's suppressing heavenly art and attacked the 10th Prince in a frenzy. Gah! With a screech, the Golden Crow 10th Crown Prince transformed into his true form. His entire body glowed with a golden light, like a small sun. He flapped his wings and slashed at Lu Ming. However, as soon as he came into contact with Lu Ming, his body trembled as if it was torn apart. His divine sunfire and the law of flames were completely suppressed by Lu Ming's ultimate chaos domain. Boom! Golden feathers were dancing in the sky. The 10th Golden Crow Prince was enraged. He reached out with 3 claws at Lu Ming, but was knocked back by Lu Ming's punches. So strong! Everyone was shocked. Lu Ming's combat strength was so powerful that he could suppress the 10th Golden Crow Prince. He's made a breakthrough. He was already terrifying when he was in the 9th level of the Martial Royal Realm. Now that he's broken through to the Half-Saint Realm, his combat strength must be even stronger. Someone said, "Taoite, come and help me." The 10th Golden Crow Prince roared. Tao Tai transformed into his true form and was about to rush up to help, but Huang Ling blocked him. "Huang Ling, let him come at me together. They'll beat him up together today," Lu Ming said. The phoenix spirit's eyes shone with a strange light. Then she really dodged. The Tao Tai roared and pounced towards Lu Ming. "Kill!" Lu Ming shouted and launched the divine sword technique. He then raised his hand and cast the chaos sky-turning stamp at the Tao. The primal chaos sky-turning seal pressed down, almost crushing the Tao Tai town. Boom! 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 Lu Ming was like a god of war as he launched a storm of attacks at the 10th Golden Crow Prince. The 10th Golden Crow Prince was forced to retreat and howl in anger. In the end, Lu Ming grabbed one of the Golden Crow 10th Prince's wings, lifted it up, and threw it at the charging Tao. With a bang, the Golden Crow 10th Prince and the Tao Tai collided, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard. Buzz! In the sky, a huge chaos sky-turning stamp appeared and pressed down on the Golden Crow 10th Prince and the Tao. The terrifying might caused the others to continuously retreat to the 2 ends of the Bridge of Helplessness, afraid of being affected. The 10th Golden Crow Prince and the Tao Tai howled as they fought back with all their might. However, it was useless. Lu Ming had used all his strength to cast the Chaos Empyrean Seal. It was extremely powerful. The bodies of the 10th Golden Crow Prince and the Tao Tai trembled violently as they were forced to the ground and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Everyone looked at each other with disbelief in their eyes. Lu Ming was fighting 1 against 2, and he had actually suppressed the Golden Crow 10th Prince and the Tao Tai so much that they were lying on the ground and vomiting blood. How was this possible? Lu Ming's combat strength was strong. They were aware of this before. Now that Lu Ming had broken through, they had originally speculated that Lu Ming could fight with one of them or even win. However, he had completely crushed them. This was too terrifying. They did not know that Lu Ming's spirit body had refined a wisp of true chaos chi. Although it was still a low-tier celestial spirit body, it was already equivalent to a medium-tier celestial spirit body. Naturally, he would be able to completely crush the 10th Golden Crow Prince and Tao. Kill! The black dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands and he charged toward the Golden Crow 10th Prince and the Tao. "Let's go!" The 10th Golden Crow Prince and the Tao Tai let out a loud roar as they suddenly charged towards the other side of the Bridge of Helplessness. They ran back the way they came from at an astonishing speed. Lu Ming's eyes flickered but he did not pursue. At this moment, the others looked at Lu Ming with fear and solemnness. Even the other heaven's favorites on the same level as the 10th Golden Crow Prince were no exception. "Lu Ming, your combat strength has become stronger. I'm no match for you at all." Huang Ling walked over and smiled. "Let's go out." Lu Ming smiled and did not say much. He walked back the way they came. Chapter 1645, 1645 Chapter 1645 Change. Saints around the other heaven's favorites remained silent. Finally, they looked at each other and returned to where they came from. Although they had all guessed that the inheritance of the Reincarnation Emperor was likely to fall into Lu Ming's hands, the combat strength that Lu Ming had just displayed was too strong. So what if it fell into Lu Ming's hands? What could they do? They would have to join forces to fight Lu Ming. However, judging from Lu Ming's combat strength, they would have to pay a heavy price even if they joined forces. They did not know how many people would die before they could take Lu Ming down. Which one of them was willing to take this risk? Lu Ming and Huang Ling walked in front. They soon passed through the small path and arrived at the area where the group of tombs was. However, when they walked into the tombs this time, there was no movement from the tombs. No illusionary figures came out to attack them. They passed through the tombs easily and arrived at the long passage. In front of him, the 10th Golden Crow Prince and Tao Tai saw Lu Ming approaching and immediately broke into a run, running madly through the passageway. Lu Ming sneered and stepped into the passage with Huang Ling. He strode forward, and the others followed behind him. The amazing thing was that when they came in before, it took them half a month to pass through the passage. This time, they only used a day to reach the end. They saw the mountain that had been split open by the halberd. Lu Ming could not help but think of the reincarnation halberd that the reincarnation emperor had given him. It seemed to be the halberd that was formed after the fusion of 10 keys. Buzz! Buzz! Once they were out of the passageway, the 10th Golden Crow Prince and the Tao Tai cast a cold glance at Lu Ming, then soared into the sky and flew into the distance. But right at this moment, a terrifying sword light appeared in the sky up ahead and slashed down towards the 10th Golden Crow Prince. This sword light looked like a rusty iron sword. It cut through the void and was hundreds of thousands of feet tall. At the same time, there was also a terrifying spear that was also covered in rust. It was incomparably huge as it charged towards Tao. "Who's there? You're looking for death." The 10th Golden Crow Prince let out a long cry and flew up into the sky. The divine fire of the sun burned fiercely, and one of his claws grew rapidly as he tried to grab the iron sword. At the same time, the Tao Tai roared and shot out a destructive light toward the spear. Boom! Boom! With 2 loud explosions, the figures of the 10th Golden Crow Prince and Tao Tai were blocked. They were suspended in the air. Even with their combat strength, they were unable to rush out. Their eyes were like lightning as they looked forward. In front of him, 2 figures stepped through the air. The 2 figures were both wearing rusty iron armors, and their bodies were filled with a strong aura of death. The difference was that one was holding a sword, and the other was holding a spear. Undead, and 2 of them were in the Saint Realm. What's going on? The undead are actually attacking the 10th Golden Crow Prince. At this moment, Lu Ming and the rest had rushed out of the passage one after another. Someone asked doubtfully, "Kill, kill." The 2 undead saints stepped forward and charged toward the Golden Crow 10th Prince and Tao. Damn it! The 10th Golden Crow Prince and the Tao Tai roared in anger. They could only use their full power to fight. Instantly, 2 balls of bright light burst out in the sky. "Let's go!" some of the young men said as they flew in another direction. Although he didn't know why the 2 undead saints attacked the Golden Crow 10th Prince and Tao Tai, it was better to leave as soon as possible while they were busy. At this moment, a terrifying roar shook the heavens and earth. A destructive light shot towards the few heaven's favorites who were flying at high speed. "Not good. Quickly retreat." A few heaven's favorites roared and attacked. However, as the beam of light passed by, the few heaven's favorites retreated and blood flowed out of their mouths. "Saint, it's the saint again." A few of the elites shouted. Roars were heard. On their left, a few giant creatures stepped in the air, exuding a terrible aura. It was the holy aura. Those huge creatures were all fierce beasts, and they were all in the Saint Realm. Then, a loud roar came from the right. A terrifying pressure spread towards Lu Ming and the others. A few figures appeared. Each figure was bathed in a brilliant light. Their faces could not be seen clearly, but their auras were definitely that of saints. At the same time, a powerful aura spread down from above their heads. A few saints had also appeared. There are 12 experts of the Saint Realm. What do they want? A young man's face turned pale. These Saint Realm experts were obviously from the various races on the 100 Clan battlefield. They usually ruled their own areas, but they had actually gathered here today. "Kill them all." A voice full of killing intent came from the sky. "Kill." The beasts of the Saint Stage and the other strange races charged toward Lu Ming and the rest. Other than the 2 undead, there were a total of 10 saints who launched terrifying attacks at Lu Ming and the rest. Instantly, a heaven's favorite was blown up in the air and died. Buzz! A fearsome claw ray was aimed at Lu Ming, but he punched out and destroyed it. The scene was in a chaotic battle. Following that, a few more screams rang out as a few more geniuses were killed. A saint not only mastered laws, but also condensed saint power. Saint energy was completely different from Zhen Yuan and demonic power. It was a qualitative improvement. Saint energy was extremely powerful and could easily destroy Zhen Yuan and demonic power. Although these geniuses were powerful, unless they entered the third level of the half-saint realm, they would still find it difficult to fight against a saint. Charge! Let's charge out together! Someone shouted. Facing 10 saints, they had to work together to have a chance. Kill! Lu Ming and Huang Ling dashed to the left. The other paragons gathered together and charged with Lu Ming. Roar! A few huge Saint Realm demonic beasts roared and charged at Lu Ming. One of them looked like a giant lizard with bone spikes all over its body. It was at least a few hundred meters long. It stretched out its huge claws and clawed at Lu Ming. This was a beast at the lower tier of the Bright Saint Realm. Lu Ming threw a punch at the beast's sharp claws. Bang! Lu Ming's punch landed on the beast's sharp claws. The beast's huge body was forced to retreat. In terms of strength, he was no match for Lu Ming. The 10th Golden Crow Prince and the Taotai could fight with ordinary saints. With Lu Ming's combat power, he could easily suppress an ordinary Saint Realm beast. As the gigantic beast retreated, Lu Ming and the rest charged forward at top speed. Stop them! The other beasts roared loudly. A few of them in the sky also charged toward Lu Ming and the rest. Let's attack together, die! Huang Ling shouted. The undying flame burned on her body, and a flaming phoenix rushed out toward a beast. Thunderbolts filled the air. Yi Dongfang was beside the phoenix spirit. The sky was filled with thunderbolts, forming a huge thunderbolt sword that slashed at a beast. One of the yellow-robed young men's arms suddenly grew bigger. His face was covered with rocks. He punched at the sky and blocked a saint. As for the other heaven's favorites, they gathered together and attacked with all sorts of methods. Chapter 1646, 1646 Chapter 1646 Full of doubts. Although the heaven's favorites in the second stage of the half-saint realm were slightly weaker, they were still a force to be reckoned with when they gathered together. The power of all kinds of laws intertwined and blasted into the sky. Even though the opponent was a saint, he was still forced to retreat. As for Lu Ming, he held the chaos sky-turning seal in his hand and threw it at the huge lizard-like beast. Bang! The lizard-like ferocious beast was hit by the chaos sky-turning stamp and was forced to retreat. Its skin and flesh were torn open and blood was flowing out. They took the opportunity to charge forward. Stay here! A cold voice suddenly came from the front. A huge demonic palm grabbed at them. The vast aura made Lu Ming's expression change. Great mastery of Bright Saint! Lu Ming roared angrily. The other party had even sent out a great mastery Bright Saint. They were going to kill them. Each level of the Saint Realm was divided into 4 levels: Initial, Upper, Peak, and Perfection. The gap between each level was huge, even bigger than the gap between each level of the Martial Royal Realm. Why did the saints of the various races in the 100-clan battlefield join forces to kill them? At this moment, Lu Ming and the other young men were filled with questions. However, now was not the time to be confused. The most important thing was to rush out first. Join hands with me! Lu Ming shouted. His hands were like phantoms as the chaos domain boiled. A huge chaos sky-turning seal was formed and blasted toward the huge demonic palm. On the side, Huang Ling, Yi Dongfang, the yellow-robed young man, and the other powerful cultivators all joined forces. Their terrifying attacks merged into a colorful light pillar and rushed toward the demonic palm. Boom! The demonic palm was crushed immediately. Lu Ming was at the forefront. He immediately changed direction and flew at top speed. The rest of the people followed behind him. The Saint Realm experts were in hot pursuit. On the other side, the 10th Golden Crow Prince and Taotai had also broken through the other party's blockade and fled into the distance. Boom! On the other side, another demonic palm formed and grabbed towards them. They continued to work together and destroyed the demonic palm. They were flying forward rapidly, but the saints behind them were hot on their heels. There was also a terrifying demonic light flying toward them. The existence in the demonic light was a powerhouse at the great mastery of the bright saint realm. Let's split up. Otherwise, if we're targeted like this, none of us will be able to escape, Lu Ming said. The expressions of the others changed rapidly. Well, split up. We'll only have a chance if 3 to 5 people join forces. Yi Dongfang shouted and turned into a bolt of lightning, rushing in another direction. Let's go! Then, the yellow-robed young man was also sent flying. The other 2 heaven's favorites who had reached the womb realm also flew out. Following that, the weaker ones split up into groups of 3 to 5 and fled into the distance. As for Lu Ming and Huang Ling, they flew straight ahead at top speed, raising their speed to the maximum. You guys go after those people. Leave those 2 to me. The being in the demonic light had its eyes on Lu Ming and was chasing after him. The other saints scattered and chased after the others. Buzz! Buzz! With 1 chasing and 1 escaping, Lu Ming, Huang Ling, and the existence in the ball of demonic light flew tens of thousands of miles in the blink of an eye. The ball of demonic light was approaching Lu Ming and Lin Feng at an alarming speed. Bubble! With a thought from Lu Ming, Bubbles, who was hiding in the pagoda, appeared and opened a space-time tunnel. Lu Ming and Feng Ling rushed in and appeared 10,000 miles away. Then, Bubbles continued to open the tunnel. After a few times, they completely shook off the ball of demonic light. It seems like Bubbles has also advanced. Lu Ming's heart stirred. In the Yuan continent, when Bubbles opened the space-time tunnel in the past, he could only travel a few thousand miles. Now, he could travel 10,000 miles. It seemed like Bubbles had also improved during the 3 months that he had experienced 9 reincarnations. She should have reached the first stage of the half-saint realm, and her strength had increased greatly. They flew for another 100,000 miles before stopping. Why do these saints want to kill us? Is it because we entered the tomb of the reincarnation king? Huang Ling frowned and couldn't figure it out. Lu Ming shook his head. He could not figure it out either. If it was because of the tomb of the reincarnation emperor, it should be the undead race that attacked them because it was the territory of the undead race. Why were there so many races? Moreover, Lu Ming felt that the being in the last ball of magic light should be a human. In the 100-clan battlefield, the only humans who had reached the Saint Realm were the natives. Let's go back to Darkwater City first, he said. Lu Ming said. The Phoenix spirit nodded and the 2 of them flew towards Darkwater City. After a while, many figures gathered in front of the mountain where the tomb of the reincarnation king was. There were 2 saints from the undead race, a few powerful beasts, and other races. All 12 saints had gathered here. Damn it, those people escaped. I only killed a dozen or so. The giant lizard that was badly beaten by Lu Ming let out an angry roar. At this moment, a ball of demonic light flew over. The other saints all looked at the demonic light. The demonic light was retracted, revealing a figure. It was a human, a black-robed old man with a gloomy face. I deliberately disclosed the information of the tomb of the reincarnation emperor to these foreign talents so that they would fight each other for the tomb. I didn't expect that these people didn't lose much after entering the tomb. What a mistake! The black-robed old man said in a low voice. What do we do now? A saint asked. Kill. We must kill him. The 100-clan battlefield belongs to us, the black-robed elder said in a cold voice. The wealth and treasures here belong to us. However, the large sects and factions outside have been sending young geniuses here for many years to plunder the wealth and kill the creatures of our various races. Even the humans who have been training outside have been killed by them. That's why we have to kill them this time. We have to kill them until the large sects in the outside world are afraid. After we kill them, they won't dare to send anyone in again. This way, the 100-clan battlefield will truly belong to us in the future. The black-robed elder's words made the other sages present angry and filled with killing intent. Well, inform all the races to hunt for foreign talents. Also, many of them will probably go to the Alliance Mountain. When the time comes, we'll ambush them there. Remember, pick the most talented ones to kill. The more talented they are, the more heartache and fear they'll feel. They won't dare to send anyone here in the future. The black-robed elder said, "All right, let's do that." He'll immediately inform the other races. Ambush and kill foreign heaven's favorites. The other sages nodded and turned into streaks of light, leaving the place. Chapter 1647. 1647 All caught Lu Ming and Huang Ling flew towards Darkwater City. 2 days later, Darkwater City appeared in front of them. When the two of them entered the city gate, the soldiers guarding the city looked at them coldly, but they did not move. The soldiers guarding the gate, "Something is wrong. They seem to want to attack us." Walking on the streets of Darkwater City, Huang Ling frowned. "It's not just the guards. The other people on the street are also looking at me weirdly. Also, did you notice that you don't seem to see any young men who are too powerful?" Lu Ming also frowned. Huang Ling sized them up and realized that the people on the street were looking at them with strange expressions. Moreover, there really weren't many young experts. Occasionally, he would see some whose cultivation wasn't very strong. It was obvious that they were local youths. It was as if the young heaven's favorites who came here to train had disappeared into thin air. "Not good. I'm afraid the situation has changed." Lu Ming had a bad premonition. "Let's go to the Phoenix Palace first." Huang Ling was a little anxious. The two of them rose into the air and flew toward the Phoenix Palace. Soon, they arrived at the Phoenix Palace. However, there was no one in the Phoenix Palace. The Phoenix Palace was completely empty. There was not a single disciple of the Phoenix Palace. It was as if the disciples of the Phoenix Palace had vanished into thin air. What's going on? Could it be that something had happened in the past 3 months that caused all the young sovereigns to leave Darkwater City? Or have they all withdrawn from the 100-clan battlefield? Huang Ling was very confused. On the way, she had learned from Lu Ming that they had stayed in the tomb of the Reincarnation Emperor for 3 months. Holy Maiden! At this moment, an old woman flew over and bowed to Feng Ling. "You are..." Huang Ling was stunned. "Holy Maiden, it's me." At this moment, the old woman's form changed rapidly, turning into a young and beautiful woman. The old woman earlier was this woman in disguise. "Huang Xian, it's you. What happened?" Huang Ling asked. It was obvious that the young woman was a disciple of Phoenix Palace. The saintess has been captured. The other senior and junior brothers and sisters have been captured by the local experts. I was able to disguise myself and blended into the local crowd in time. That's how I escaped. Saintess, let's go. The local experts will be here soon. Huang Xian said anxiously. A native expert? Huang Ling was a little stunned. Buzz, buzz, and NBSP whoosh. At this time, a violent air-piercing sound was heard. At least a few dozen rainbow lights cut through the void and flew toward them. Dozens of powerhouses in armor descended above the Phoenix Palace in an instant, exuding a powerful aura. The dozens of people were all in the half-saint realm. More than a dozen of them were in the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm, the realm where the laws could be infused into the body. Take down all of the foreign chosen. A burly man shouted. Attack! Dozens of experts attacked immediately. They launched fierce attacks, wanting to severely injure Lu Ming and Huang Ling in one go. You're looking for death, die? Huang Ling shouted angrily. The immortal flame burned and turned into an immortal flame phoenix. It pounced forward and killed 5 or 6 half-saints with a flap of its wings. On the other hand, Lu Ming threw more than a dozen punches in a row. Each punch sent a fist radiance flying through the air. Each fist radiance could blow up an expert in the air. To Lu Ming, there was no difference whether it was the law tank or the 2nd stage of the half-saint. He could kill an ordinary half-saint in one move. Evil creature, you're looking for death. At this time, a loud shout came from the depths of Darkwater City, and a terrifying aura shot up into the sky. Oh no, it's a sage. Let's rush out first. Huang Ling's expression changed. All right, Lu Ming said. Then he used the Thunderwind steps and appeared in front of a local half-saint in a flash. He reached out and grabbed the man's throat. Then he carried the burly man and rushed out of the Darkwater City with Huang Ling and Huang Xian. In the depths of Darkwater City, an elder rushed out and slashed out a terrifying sword light. This was an expert in the initial sacred brightness realm. Lu Ming threw a punch and destroyed the sword light. Huang Ling used her vital essence to carry Huang Xian, and the three of them rushed out of Darkwater City at top speed. In a short while, he rushed out of Darkwater City and rushed into the distance. In Darkwater City, the old man in the Sage Realm seemed to be a little afraid and did not pursue. Lu Ming and the rest only stopped after flying for a long time. Lu Ming sealed the cultivation of the local half-saint and threw him on the ground. Huang Xian, what's going on? Huang Ling asked. I don't know either. About a month ago, the locals suddenly launched an attack. Many of the saints attacked the talents of the foreign forces. Many of them were killed. Many of our Phoenix Palace died as well. The others were captured, and some of them escaped the city. Huang Xian explained. What are the races on the 100 Clan battlefield trying to do? Huang Ling's eyes were burning with flames. They had also been attacked by the saints of various races in the 100 Clan battlefield after coming out of the tomb of the Reincarnation Emperor. Was this all a coincidence? Well, no, if we ask this guy. Lu Ming stepped on the local half-saint's Danton and said, Speak, why did you attack us? Haha, don't you know your own limits? The 100 Clan battlefield belongs to the various races of the 100 Clan battlefield. You outsiders, there are always people coming in to plunder the treasures here and kill the people of the various races. You all deserve to die. This time, the various races of the 100 Clan battlefield have joined forces to kill all of you so that the large sects in the outside world will never dare to send anyone here again. The local half-saint laughed wildly. I see. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. It seemed like the native races held a deep grudge against the foreign heavens favorites. They must have planned this for a long time to kill them. It didn't matter how strong the large sects and factions outside were. Experts above the Saint Realm couldn't enter the 100 Clan battlefield. As a result, they could only give up on the 100 Clan battlefield, a place where geniuses were trained. Tell me, where are the people you captured hiding? Huang Ling asked. There's no harm in telling you. Those who were caught in the Alliance Mountain were all taken there, including the disciples of your Phoenix Palace. They'll all be killed there and sacrificed to our ancestors. Ha! The local half-saint laughed. Meng Mountain. Huang Ling frowned. She then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, I'm going to Meng Mountain to save the disciples of Phoenix Palace. I'll take my leave now. They had formed an alliance because of the tomb of the Samsara Emperor. Now that the trip to the tomb of the Samsara Emperor was over, their alliance was naturally over. Huang Ling, I'm afraid this is a trap set by the native races. It's probably very dangerous to go to the Alliance Mountain. Lu Ming said. I know, but I can't just leave so many disciples of Phoenix Palace. Phoenix Spirit sighed. Chapter 1648 Killing a Saint Stage Ferocious Beast. Those who could enter the 100 Clan battlefield were all geniuses, and most of them had superior earth spiritual bodies. If they all died here, the Phoenix Palace would suffer a great loss. She was the Phoenix Palace's saintess, so she had to be saved. I'll go with you. Lu Ming smiled faintly. You're coming with me? Huang Ling was stunned. An extra person, an extra helper, why? Are you touched? Lu Ming said with a smile. Many thanks. Huang Ling cupped her fists. All right, then let's set off to the Alliance Mountain. This is also a training experience, but this time, our opponents have changed to saints. Lu Ming laughed heroically. Then his vital essence burst forth and killed the local half-saint. After that, Lu Ming, Huang Ling, and Huang Xian headed for the Union Mountain. Huang Ling had been in the 100 Clan battlefield for a long time, so she naturally knew where the Alliance Mountain was. Alliance Mountain was the place where all the races of the 100 Clan battlefield gathered. Every once in a while, the various races of the 100 Tribe battlefield would gather at the Alliance Mountain to discuss matters. A day later, the three of them had already covered a long distance. Boom, boom. Suddenly, a violent explosion came from the front. The sky rumbled loudly, and the sky was filled with lightning. Following that, there was a roar and a sword chi that broke through the air and shot into the clouds. There, a terrifying battle was taking place. "Let's go take a look," Lu Ming said. The three of them concealed their auras and flew into the sky. The fluctuations in front of him were very shocking. There were two mighty beams of saintly might that filled the sky. "It's him, Yidong Fong." Not long after, Lu Ming saw the people engaged in a great battle. One of them was Yi Dongfang. In addition, there were two experts besieging Yi Dongfang. One of them was a giant lizard-like beast with bone spikes all over its body. It was the beast that had fought with Lu Ming outside the tomb of the Samsara Emperor. The other one was a human saint. He was in existence at the initial Bright Saint realm. In reality, it was extremely difficult to break through to the Saint realm in the 100 Clan battlefield. As a result, most of the saints in the 100 Clan battlefield were initial Bright Saints. "You can't escape. Today you must die." The giant lizard beast roared and its claws were like mountains as it attacked Yi Dongfang. The human saint's sword light bloomed, and it was extremely terrifying. He kept slashing at Yi Dongfang. Yi Dongfang was strong, but he was no match for two saints alone. He was in a bad shape, his hair disheveled, his body covered in blood, and his breath weak. He let out a long roar as if he had transformed into a god of thunder. Terrifying power of thunder filled the air, and the laws of thunder burst forth as he fought with the two saints. The thick lightning sometimes swept across a mountain, and the mountain would directly collapse. However, a saint was just as terrifying. His saint power was unparalleled. With one strike, he could obliterate the power of the lightning laws. "Save Yi Dongfang," Lu Ming said. "All right." Huang Ling nodded. Yi Dongfang was a decent man, and they were still too weak to go to the Meng Mountains. If they could get Yi Dongfang to help them, they would be even stronger. "Leave the giant lizard to me. You and Yi Dongfang will deal with the human warrior," Lu Ming said. The phoenix spirit nodded and let Huang Xian stay here. Huang Xian could not interfere in a battle of this level. "Sila." Lu Ming activated the thundering wind steps. With a flash of wind and thunder, his figure dashed out rapidly towards the giant lizard beast. The black dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands and he flung it out abruptly. Like a bolt of lightning, it tore through the air and stabbed at the giant lizard beast. Lu Ming's spirit body was very powerful now. When he threw the spear, it was covered with the ultimate chaos domain. The terrifying sound of the spear breaking through the air made the giant lizard beast feel frightened. The giant lizard beast roared and ignored Yi Dongfang. It slapped the black dragon spear with its scale-covered palm. The black dragon spear pierced through the scales on the giant lizard beast's claws, all the way to the handle. The giant lizard beast's palm was bleeding profusely. It let out an explosive roar, and at this moment, Lu Ming had already arrived. "It's you!" The giant lizard beast roared angrily, a hint of fear in its eyes. He was very clear about Lu Ming's combat strength. "This time it'll kill you," Lu Ming said coldly. A chaos sky-turning stamp formed in his palm and suppressed the lizard beast. The giant lizard roared and fought back with all its might. However, after colliding with the primal chaos heaven-flipping seal, its huge body trembled and it retreated continuously. "Kill!" Lu Ming shouted. A chaos sky-turning stamp appeared in each of his hands and he smashed it at the giant lizard beast. Boom, boom. The two consecutive attacks made it difficult for the giant lizard to stand in the air. It was smashed to the ground, causing dust to fly everywhere. On the other side, Lu Ming's participation jolted Yi Dongfang's spirit. The power of lightning spread all over his body, and he focused all his attention on the human saint. At this time, Huang Ling had also arrived and joined forces with Yi Dongfang. The human saint was immediately at a disadvantage. "You're the one who's going to die today." Yi Dongfang seemed like he was going to explode with anger. He attacked the human saint like a storm. With the help of Huang Ling, the human saint was hit by a bolt of lightning. Even his saint power protection was penetrated, and he spat out blood. "Damn it!" The human saint shouted angrily and wanted to retreat. However, neither Huang Ling nor Yi Dongfang was weaker than him. He couldn't get out at the moment. On the other side, Lu Ming had already completely suppressed the giant lizard beast. He rushed onto the back of the giant lizard beast and used the prison suppression heaven technique. His vital essence surged into the flowing essence gloves in a frenzy and blasted the back of the giant lizard beast. Boom! As the punch landed, scales flew everywhere and a huge hole was blasted on the back of the giant lizard beast. Even its bone armor was broken. Its huge body heavily smashed into the ground, creating a huge pit. The giant lizard beast howled in pain. Its saint energy condensed into a terrifying attack, trying to blast Lu Ming off its back. At this moment, more than 10 holy weapons appeared on Lu Ming's body. Like the black wings, a shield holy weapon blocked the lizard beast's attack. Lu Ming grabbed a holy weapon sword and stabbed it into the wound on the lizard beast. The sword chi exploded and pierced deep into the lizard beast's body. Then Lu Ming's power burst out and he cut horizontally. Sila! The giant lizard beast's body was almost cut in half, and blood flowed all over the ground. The giant lizard beast roared as its huge body rolled on the ground. Lu Ming soared into the sky. In the sky, an exceptionally huge chaos sky-turning seal condensed. This was the chaos sky-turning seal at its full power. Boom! The 100% power of the primal chaos sky-turning seal pressed down on the giant lizard beast and smashed into it. Although the giant lizard beast tried its best to counterattack, it was useless. It was already severely injured, so how could it block the 100% power of the chaos sky-turning seal? Chapter 1649 Alliance Mountain. Joining hands, the ground exploded, and gravel flew everywhere. A huge pit appeared on the ground. When the primal chaos sky-turning seal disappeared, the giant lizard beast lay in the deep pit like a pool of mud. There was no sign of life. The saint stage lizard beast was dead. It was killed by Lu Ming. On the other battlefield, the human saint was terrified when he saw this. He was almost scared to death. He could kill a saint before he became a saint. Even though he was a member of the 100 Clan battlefield and had seen countless foreign prodigies since he was young, it was still extremely rare for someone to have such a battle record. For example, geniuses like Huang Ling, Yi Dongfang, and the Golden Crow 10th Prince who had reached the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm could only fight with ordinary saints. It was impossible to kill them, unless it was an even stronger heaven's favorite. But now Lu Ming had done it. Even Yi Dongfang and Huang Ling were shocked. Even though they came from a huge emperor-ranked power and had seen many things, such a battle record was extremely rare. Most importantly, Lu Ming was only at the 1st stage of the half-saint realm. If he could reach the 2nd stage of the half-saint realm, comprehend the laws, or even reach the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm, how terrifying would his combat power be? The saint tried his best to break out of the encirclement, but he was entangled by Huang Ling and Yi Dongfang. He was hit by Huang Ling and almost burned half of his body. With a wave of his hand, the black dragon spear that had pierced into the giant lizard beast's palm flew out and was put away by Lu Ming. He then looked around and finally found a storage ring in the giant lizard beast's mouth. Then, step by step, he walked toward the human saint, which made the human saint's heart turn cold. 12 saint weapons surrounded Lu Ming. He held the black dragon spear and charged at the human saint like a bolt of black lightning. There was no longer any suspense in this battle. With Lu Ming's participation, the human saint's fate was sealed. In the end, it let out an indignant roar and was killed by Lu Ming and the other two. As for the human saint's storage ring, Huang Ling and Yi Dongfang did not take it. They said that it was Lu Ming's credit, so Lu Ming naturally took it without any hesitation. "Brother Lu, Miss Feng Ling, thank you for saving me." Yi Dong saluted Lu Ming and Feng Ling, his eyes filled with gratitude. If not for Lu Ming and Huang Ling, he would have been surrounded by 2 saints and would have been in danger. "It's nothing, no need to be so polite." "Brother Yi, where are you going next?" Lu Ming asked. "I was planning to go to the Alliance Mountain. I heard that many disciples of the Thunder God sect are imprisoned there. I was going to save them, but I didn't expect to be attacked by 2 saints." Yi Dongfang said. "That's great. We're going to Meng Mountain too. How about we work together?" Lu Ming said with a smile. Yi Dongfang's eyes lit up and he said in joy, "That's great, I can't ask for more." The four of them immediately left and flew towards the Meng Mountains. Although Yi Dongfang was slightly injured, it was not particularly serious. With his thunder attribute heavenly spirit body, his vitality was extremely strong, and he could heal his injuries while flying. Another day passed, and a majestic mountain appeared in front of the four. The mountain was huge, lush, and full of towering trees. This was the Alliance Mountain. The four of them didn't approach. Instead, they hid in the clouds and watched from a distance. With their eyesight, they could clearly see the situation on the mountain even from a distance. At the top of the mountain, there was a flat piece of land. Many young people were sitting on it. At a glance, there were at least 1,000 of them. They were all prodigies from various sects and powers who had entered the 100-clan battlefield. A disciple of Phoenix Palace. Huang Ling said softly. Among the crowd, she saw about 20 Phoenix Palace disciples. At the same time, Yi Dongfang also discovered the disciples of Thunder God Palace. There were powerhouses standing guard around these young men. There were humans and terrifying alien races, one in each direction. There were 4 of them in total, and they were obviously all saints. In other areas of the mountain, there were also figures moving, but they were all below the saint realm. Only 4 sage realm experts? A flash of lightning appeared in Yi Dongfang's eyes, but he did not act rashly. The various races of the 100-clan battlefield have been planning this for a long time. Their main goal is to kill a large number of prodigies. But now, there are so many people imprisoned here. They're clearly trying to lure us here for an ambush. I'm guessing that there are many powerful existences hidden in the dark. Lu Ming speculated. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known that they were being escorted here so easily. I'm afraid that the locals have already received the news. As long as we ask, they will tell us the news. Huang Ling also nodded. Then what should we do? We can't just sit here and do nothing. After a few days, the other party might really make a move. Yi Dongfang said anxiously. I have an idea, but we don't have enough people. We still need some help. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming said, there are many disciples of the sects and forces who have been captured here. There will definitely be others coming to rescue them. We will contact them secretly and attack together, said Huang Ling. The 4 of them observed for a while, then retreated to a cloud in the distance to observe from a distance. In another direction of Lu Ming's group of 4, 2 figures in golden robes stood in a mass of clouds. One of them was the 10th Golden Crow Prince, and the other was also a member of the Golden Crow race. Crown Prince, what do we do now? There are more than a dozen people in my clan. If they capture us, should we save them or not? The Golden Crow race member asked. Save? The other side has many experts and is obviously waiting for us to take the bait. In order to save them, we put ourselves in danger. Do you think it's worth it? The Golden Crow 10th Prince said coldly. And NBSP, the Golden Crow race member, lowered his head and didn't speak. Let's go. Leave the 100-clan battlefield. The 10th Golden Crow Prince said coldly. He then retreated and disappeared. Following that, more and more people came to watch from afar. However, there were some who did the same thing as the Golden Crow 10th Prince and immediately backed out. There were others who were unwilling to give up and paced back and forth in the surroundings, hiding and watching from a distance. Lu Ming and the other 3 flew toward a mountain peak where 4 young geniuses were. Who is it? The 4 of them looked at Lu Ming and the rest at the same time. It's you guys? The 4 of them were stunned. Xia Ding, the 4 of you should also want to save him, right? Lu Ming stepped forward. The 4 of them were Xia Ding and the other 3 who had attacked Lu Ming and Huang Ling in an attempt to steal the map and key to the tomb of the Samsara King. Not bad. Xia Ding stared at Lu Ming and said cautiously. Lu Ming's current combat strength was extremely shocking. If he were to take revenge and attack them, the 4 of them would not be a match for Lu Ming even if they joined forces. How about we join forces? We also want to save people. Lu Ming said. Join hands? Xia Ding and the other 3's gazes flickered before they turned to look at Huang Ling and Yi Dongfeng. All right, we agree to join hands. After a moment of silence, Xia Ding nodded his head. Chapter 1650 Chapter 1650 Saving people. Just like that, Lu Ming's team had 4 more people. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming and the group wandered around and invited some people to join forces. For example, the yellow-robed young man and another strong cultivator were no weaker than Yi Dongfang. There were also a few other heaven's favorites who were slightly weaker. In this way, they added up to more than a dozen people. For example, there were 4 people at the level of Yi Dongfang and Huang Ling. Lu Ming, what is your plan? Huang Ling could not help but ask Lu Ming. I have a technique that can change my aura. I'll disguise myself as a native and approach the top of the mountain. Then you guys pretend to attack and attract some experts. They'll rush in and save those who need to be saved. Then we'll break out of the siege together. Lu Ming said. Are you sure no one can recognize your aura-changing technique? Some people were skeptical. Lu Ming smiled. He activated the illusionary breath technique, and the aura on his body changed to be exactly the same as that person. The expressions of the people present changed drastically. There was actually such a mystical secret technique. Lu Ming smiled. The illusionary breathing technique that he had obtained in the divine wilderness continent back then was indeed amazing. Even now, it was still very useful. As long as his cultivation level doesn't exceed mine by too much, he won't be able to sense it. It shouldn't be a problem to hide from a few bright sages for a short time. Lu Ming said. All right, let's do that. Yi Dongfang waved his hand, and a hint of fighting intent appeared in his eyes. The others agreed one after another. This method was better than directly attacking. Wait for me in the distance. When I'm close to the peak, I'll send a message to Feng Ling that's the time to attack. Lu Ming said. The others nodded in succession. Then, Lu Ming landed on the ground. The chaos domain transformed into the earth domain. Lu Ming's body sank into the ground and disappeared. Lu Ming shuttled through the ground, completely concealing his aura as he headed for the Union Mountain. As Lu Ming approached the Union Mountain, he picked a local who was at the 9th level martial royal realm and killed him in an instant. Then, Lu Ming changed his clothes and changed his appearance rapidly. In the end, he looked exactly the same as the other person, even his aura. After throwing the corpse into a cave, Lu Ming swaggered to the peak. Naturally, there were no obstacles along the way. Very soon, Lu Ming arrived at the top of the mountain. In front of him, a huge blood-red tiger suddenly opened its eyes. Its lightning-like gaze fell on Lu Ming, as if it wanted to see through him. The blood-red tiger was one of the 4 saints who were guarding the mountain. What are you doing here? The blood-red tiger opened its mouth, and a saint's might emanated from it. Its aura was oppressive. Senior, I have important news to report to you. Lu Ming said. What news? The blood-red tiger said. This. Lu Ming hesitated for a moment. He looked left and right on purpose. He held a voice transmission jade talisman in his hand and secretly sent a message to Huang Ling. In the distance, in a cloud, Huang Ling received Lu Ming's message. Lu Ming has sent out the news. Let's do it, said Huang Ling instantly. More than a dozen figures rushed towards Meng Mountain at extreme speed. The air whistled and released a terrifying aura. They've finally made their move. The blood-red tiger sneered and looked in the direction of Huang Ling and the others, but it did not move. Boom, boom. At this moment, terrifying auras shot up into the sky from the Union Mountain. The holy might was vast, and 10 different figures rushed out. There were indeed terrifying experts lying in ambush here. 10 saints charged towards Huang Ling and the others. Not good, there are too many experts on the other side. Retreat! Retreat! Huang Ling shouted and they retreated quickly. Don't let them get away. Some of the saints roared, and the 10 saints chased after Huang Ling. This time, I'm going to leave all of them behind. The blood-red tiger sneered, then looked at Lu Ming. What did you want to report? Senior, what I want to say is that there are other people who have sneaked in. Lu Ming said. Who is it? The blood-red tiger's eyes shone with golden light. That is... Lu Ming suddenly let out a loud roar. He stomped on the ground, causing the ground to crack. Lu Ming's figure charged towards the blood-red tiger, and he threw a punch at the blood-red tiger. Lu Ming had used almost all his strength in this punch. You! The blood-red tiger did not expect that Lu Ming would suddenly attack. It wanted to dodge, but it was too late. The punch landed squarely on the tiger's head. Even though the tiger was a Saint Realm expert, it could not withstand the blow. Its entire head exploded and its body flew out. Buzz! Lu Ming rushed over immediately. The space between his brows glowed and the mountain and river diagram appeared. A beam of light descended and enveloped the disciples of the Phoenix Palace. The disciples of Phoenix Palace were sucked into the mountain and river diagram. Then, the light of the mountain and river diagram turned again, and the disciples of the Thunder God sect were also taken in. You're looking for death. Kill him. At this moment, the saints who were guarding the other directions finally reacted. They were furious and rushed toward Lu Ming. Collect, collect, collect. Lu Ming controlled the mountain and river diagram and frantically kept the young men. A pagoda appeared above his head. Bubbles cast the space-time domain and 3 transparent bubbles suddenly enveloped the 3 saints, causing them to stop in midair. Bubbles had already reached the half-saint stage and was extremely powerful. When she used her space-time domain, it was enough to affect a saint. By the time the 3 saints broke free of the space-time domain's influence, Lu Ming had already taken away more than half of the youths on the mountaintop. Kill, kill! A loud shout came from the Union Mountain. A beam of demonic light shot out and a black-robed elder appeared, exuding a terrifying aura. It's him! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This black-robed old man had fought outside the tomb of the Samsara Emperor. He was a great sage and was extremely powerful. Lu Ming was not his match yet. Let's go! Lu Ming put away the mountain and river diagram and dashed into the distance. Save us, save us! The remaining young men shouted madly, and among them were the Golden Crow race. However, Lu Ming's eyes were cold. He could not be bothered with these people. Furthermore, the elites of these sects had already retreated on their own, such as the 10th Golden Crow Prince. Why would Lu Ming save them? The people that Lu Ming had saved were those who had joined forces with them. Stay here! The black-robed elder's killing intent was extremely strong. Demonic chi soared to the sky as a huge palm print came crashing down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming got Bubbles to open a space-time tunnel and he rushed into it. When he reappeared, he was already near Huang Ling and the rest. Let's go! The group of people gathered and flew forward at high speed. However, the next moment, Lu Ming and the rest had a drastic change of expression. Because a few auras rose up in front of him. They were extremely terrifying auras. Chapter 1651 Breaking out of the encirclement and returning to the tomb of King Samsara. Boom. 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 In front of him, there were a total of 10 auras, like smoke signals, extremely terrifying. The most shocking thing was that 4 of the auras were no weaker than the black-robed elder. They were not ordinary saints, but perfected bright saints. One of them even had a world-shaking aura, much stronger than a great bright saint. A peak bright saint. Many people's faces turned pale. This time, the other party had sent a peak bright saint, for in the upper tier of the bright saint realm, and more than 10 in the lower tier. Such a lineup was too terrifying. If they were surrounded, they would only have a path of death. They would not have any chance. All of you, enter my mountain and river diagram. Lu Ming roared and summoned the mountain and river diagram. With so many people, they would definitely not be able to rush out. If Lu Ming was alone, it might be possible. The others did not resist. Lu Ming's combat strength surpassed theirs. If Lu Ming could not break out, they would not be able to either. In an instant, everyone was kept into the mountain and river diagram by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming used the thundering wind steps, changed his direction, and dashed out like a bolt of lightning. This kid has a grotto heaven treasure. Don't let him escape. A furious roar rang out. More than 20 sages chased after Lu Ming frantically. Among them, the powerhouse at the peak of the Bright Saint realm was the fastest. He took the lead and quickly chased after Lu Ming. Behind him, the 4 great perfected bright saints, including the black-robed elder, followed closely. No matter how amazing the thundering wind steps was and how fast he was, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the first stage of the half-saint realm. He was still far behind the mastery of the bright saint realm or even the peak of the bright saint realm. Hence, he was still slower. Buzz. The powerhouse at the peak of the bright saint realm was approaching Lu Ming at an alarming speed. A terrifying saber light slashed out from this person's hand, aiming at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression changed. He was definitely not a match for a peak bright saint. At this moment, the bubbles opened a space-time tunnel. Lu Ming rushed into the space-time tunnel and appeared thousands of miles away. Space-time domain, damn it. The powerhouse at the peak of the bright saint stage roared. The aura on his body rumbled and his speed suddenly increased. He turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Lu Ming, traveling thousands of miles in an instant. So fast. Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He flew at high speed, but not long after, the other party closed the distance between them. Lu Ming had no choice but to let Bubbles open the space-time tunnel again. Just like that, after a few more times, the other saints had already left him in the dust. However, the peak bright saint was still following closely behind. We can't continue like this. Lu Ming's mind kept spinning. It consumed a lot of energy for Bubbles to open the space-time tunnel. It was impossible for them to open it continuously. At most, they could open it for more than 10 times before their energy was exhausted. The space-time tunnel could only be used to save one's life at a critical moment, but it was unrealistic to use it to travel. At this rate, the other party would catch up to Lu Ming before he could rush out of the 100-clan battlefield. Let's go to the tomb of the Reincarnation King. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He had no choice but to go to the tomb of the Reincarnation Emperor and try his best. If it did not work, Lu Ming could only use the Reincarnation Halberd. However, the Reincarnation Halberd only had 2 streams of energy. If it was used at full force, it could kill anyone below the Emperor realm. It was too precious. It was a waste to use it on a person at the peak of the Bright Saint realm. Lu Ming was definitely not willing to use it unless he had no other choice. Lu Ming immediately changed his direction and flew towards the tomb of the Reincarnation King. Fortunately, they were not too far away from the tomb of the Samsara Emperor. Every time Lu Ming was almost caught up by the other party, he would ask Bubbles to open the space-time tunnel and increase the distance between them. Then he would fly on his own to give Bubbles time to recover. When the other party approached, he would open a space-time tunnel and increase the distance. Just like that, one chased and the other chased, boundless mountains and rivers flitted past under their feet. After an unknown period of time, just as the Bubbles' energy was about to be exhausted, a huge mountain that had been split into 2 appeared in front of them. They had arrived at the tomb of the Reincarnation King. Lu Ming's eyes brightened and he rushed straight into the passage. A strong pressure pressed down on him and he strode forward. It didn't take long for the peak bright saint to arrive and rush into the passage. Bang! He was caught off guard as the terrifying pressure pressed down on him. Even with his cultivation at the peak of a bright saint, he fell directly to the ground and almost fell flat on his face. Boom! The expert at the peak of the bright saint stage was boiling with saint power. He wanted to break through the pressure and catch up with Lu Ming, but it was of no use. It seemed that the stronger his cultivation was, the stronger the pressure he faced. In the end, his face was flushed red, and he could only step forward and chase after Lu Ming. Just like that, the 2 of them advanced through the passageway. Very quickly, a day had passed. A day had passed, but the passage was still boundless. Lu Ming's heart stirred. When they came out, they had completed this passageway in a day. However, a day had passed and the road ahead was still long. Could it be that it took half a month to go in but only a day to come out? Very soon, Lu Ming's guess was confirmed. Time passed day by day, and they still hadn't reached the end of the passage. The peak bright saint was a thin middle-aged man. His expression was extremely gloomy, but he was an old monster who had lived for a long time and was naturally very patient. Time flew by, and half a month had passed. They had finally reached the end of the passage. Lu Ming crossed the passage and entered the graveyard. The graveyard glowed instantly and shadows appeared, attacking Lu Ming. Boom, boom. Lu Ming threw a few punches in succession, crushing a few shadows before he dashed forward quickly. Not long after, a peak bright saint also rushed through the passage and entered the graveyard. However, just as the peak bright saint stepped into the area of the graves began to glow with a brilliant light. The power of laws surged and the shadows almost materialized. Saint Realm, die. The illusionary image of a fire bull let out a long roar and stomped down with blazing flames. The face of the expert at the peak of the bright Saint Realm changed drastically. He struck out with his blade, but the blade light shattered. The fire bull stepped on his chest, and the expert at the peak of the bright Saint Realm screamed in pain. His body flew far away, and blood spurted out of his mouth. His chest had been blown apart. If it weren't for his profound cultivation and strong vitality, he would have died. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. When the other party had charged in, why did the laws on the tombs suddenly go berserk? They had unleashed a terrifying attack that had severely injured a peak bright saint. Could it be that we can't enter the Saint Realm here? Once someone enters the Saint Realm, it will trigger the law above the tomb? Lu Ming's imagination ran wild. This was truly a pleasant surprise. He had originally wanted to enter the land of reincarnation to avoid the other party's pursuit, but now it seemed that there was no need. Old man, if you have the ability, then come and chase me. Lu Ming could not help but burst out laughing. Little bastard, just you wait. Unless you hide in there forever. The peak bright sage glared at Lu Ming angrily and looked at the graves with fear. Then he turned around and left for the passage. Chapter 1652, 1652 Array Dao Laws. This guy will definitely block me at the entrance of the passage. There will be other Sage Realm experts as well. Lu Ming watched the other party leave and pondered in his heart. Now, he could only stay here for a while. Lu Ming walked deeper into the tombs and soon arrived at the intersection. On both sides of the road, above the two tombs, the shadow of a true dragon and the shadow of a phoenix appeared. The two shadows were very powerful. However, with Lu Ming's current combat strength, with the help of his clone and Bubbles, he managed to rush past them and arrived at the Yellow Spring River. At this point, Lu Ming summoned the mountain and river diagram. The mountain and river diagram glowed, and Huang Ling, Yidongfang, and the others, as well as those who were saved by Lu Ming, all appeared by the Yellow Spring River. This place? Is it the tomb of the Reincarnation King? Huang Ling, Yidongfang, and the others recognized this place as soon as they came out. As for those who had never come in, they looked around in confusion. When they saw the Yellow Spring River, their faces turned ugly. Yes, this is the tomb of the Reincarnation King. Lu Ming's expression was grave. It looks like we'll have to spend the rest of our days here. The other party is too powerful. With my cultivation, I can't shake him off. I can only hide here for now. It's already not bad to be able to reach this point. What plans do you have next? After Huang Ling finished speaking, she looked at Lu Ming. Not only was Lu Ming's combat strength shocking, but he was also very resourceful and meticulous. He had left a deep impression on her. Cultivate and improve. Well, charge out when we're strong enough, Lu Ming said. This time, Lu Ming had saved nearly 500 people. Most of these people were Heaven's favorites with upper-grade Earth spiritual bodies, and there were also people with Heaven's spiritual bodies. As long as their strength improved one more step, they would be able to join forces and charge out. We can cultivate here without worry. The local saints won't be able to enter. Lu Ming told them about the changes in the grave and everyone was relieved. Lu Ming, no matter what, it's all thanks to you this time. Otherwise, we definitely wouldn't have been able to save her. Huang Ling said sincerely. That's right. This time, it's all thanks to Lu Ming. Regardless of whether I can escape successfully or not, I, Yidongfang, will remember this favor. Yidongfang said. Lu Ming, it's our fault for attacking you back then. I hope you don't take it to heart. Xia Ding and the other three stepped forward and thanked Lu Ming. It's fine. I promise to help Feng Ling save the people of the Phoenix Palace. Saving you is just a convenient way. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Following that, everyone split up in groups of 2 or 3, looking for a place to cultivate. Lu Ming returned to the Bridge of Helplessness, but Meng Po was nowhere to be seen. Lu Ming sized up the vortex and did not jump down in the end. He sat cross-legged on the bridge and devoured the rough stones to regulate his breathing. When Lu Ming's cultivation had recovered, he entered the mountain and river diagram and went to the path understanding ancient tree. Previously, when Lu Ming put Huang Ling and the others into the mountain and river diagram, he had hidden it well. Therefore, Huang Ling and the others did not see Lu Ming's path understanding ancient tree. After all, the path understanding ancient tree was too precious. There would be unnecessary trouble if someone saw it. As for the mountain and river diagram, although it was precious, everyone present was a heaven's favorite of an emperor-ranked force. Naturally, they had seen similar grotto heaven treasures before and were not too surprised. Lu Ming sat cross-legged under the path understanding ancient tree, quietly comprehending the path and comprehending the chaos realm. He hoped that he could cultivate the chaos realm into chaos laws as soon as possible. As long as he cultivated the chaos realm into the chaos laws and entered the second stage of the half-saint realm, Lu Ming's strength would skyrocket. By then, he would have no fear when he faced the existences at the great mastery of the bright saint realm. He was confident that he could even withstand a few moves from an expert at the peak of the bright saint realm. At that time, his chances of escaping would increase greatly. At the same time, he was also cultivating his second body. He had already lit 10 spirit lamps to refine his second body. Next, he would also use inscriptions to communicate with the laws and enter the second stage of the half-saint realm. Bubbles was also in the midst of her cultivation. It was the same for the others. In this area, no one would disturb them, and everyone was focused on improving their strength. Outside, there were saint realm experts from various races. Everyone was under great pressure. With great pressure, they could improve faster and turn the pressure into strength. Day after day, time flew by. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. The inscription refining secondary body had been cultivated to the limit. It seemed that he could communicate with the laws at any time and enter the second stage of the half-saint realm. However, at this moment, Lu Ming had to consider which law was the best for the inscription refinement clone to cultivate. In the saint realm, one could only control one kind of law. When one broke through to the saint realm, one would use the law as the foundation and condense the saint heart. In the Tao of inscription, one could use inscriptions to borrow the energy of heaven and earth. Of course, one could also use this to comprehend the laws. However, most of those laws were ordinary laws, such as metal, wood, water, fire, and so on. However, there were 3 extremely powerful laws in the Tao of inscription. They were the laws of array Tao, weapon Tao, and pill Tao. These 3 laws were extremely powerful. Mastering each of them was extremely terrifying and difficult to comprehend. They were supreme laws in the hearts of those who cultivated the Tao of inscription. Even if it couldn't be compared to the chaos laws, it was still a powerful law close to the chaos laws. Lu Ming's ambition was to comprehend one of the laws. Which one should he comprehend? It was the array Tao laws. In the end, Lu Ming made up his mind. The laws of array Tao could evolve into endless offensive and defensive techniques. They were ever-changing and endless. Legend had it that after someone had comprehended the array Tao laws, they would use the array Tao laws to derive the destruction array Tao, the destruction array Tao, and so on. They all had terrifying abilities that could destroy the heavens and earth. Although the array Tao laws were extremely difficult to comprehend, Lu Ming had the Tai Chi formation disc, which seemed to contain the array Tao laws. After choosing the direction, he began to cultivate again. In the blink of an eye, another 3 months had passed. It had been 4 months since they entered the tomb of the reincarnation king. At this moment, the second body was at the critical moment of cultivation. In the mountain and river diagram, 10 golden spiritual lamps appeared on top of Ming Lian's head. They formed a golden pillar of fire that shot into the sky as if it was trying to communicate with the law. The Tai Chi disc array floated in the air, emitting a strange light that fell on Lu Ming. Buzz. At this moment, a strange power descended from the sky and landed on the body of the clone. At that moment, dense runes appeared on the body of the clone. These runes were similar to inscriptions, but they were of a much higher grade. This was the embodiment of the Array Dao Law. Lu Ming and the rest had comprehended the Array Dao Law. Buzz. Lu Ming suddenly stood up and struck out with his palm. Dense runes appeared on his palm and formed a dazzling combat sword. He slashed forward and a sword chi split a small hill into two. Then he took a step forward, and runes appeared. They condensed into a true dragon that flew out. Amazing! Is this the Array Dao Law? Lu Ming's eyes flashed with surprise. Chapter 1653. 1653 The Law of Chaos. Phoenix's nirvana laws were invisible and intangible, but they truly existed. After cultivators comprehended the laws, their every move contained the power of the laws, and their might was astonishing. He had reached the second stage of the half-saint realm by refining his second body. The next step would be to reach the third stage of the half-saint realm. At that time, he could start to break through to the saint realm. The breakthrough of the inscription-refined secondary body had undoubtedly made Lu Ming's strength increase greatly. However, this was not enough. Lu Ming's main body had yet to break through. Next, he continued to cultivate the inscription secondary body and familiarized himself with the use of the Array Dao laws. Time flew by and days went by. Many people had made breakthroughs during this period of time. Many heaven's favorites with superior earth spiritual bodies who used to be at the first stage of the half-saint realm had broken through a level and entered the second stage of the half-saint realm. Many of those who were originally at the second stage of the half-saint realm had entered the third stage of the half-saint realm. Most importantly, Xia Ding and the other heaven spiritual body prodigies, who were originally in the second stage of the half-saint realm, had also broken through and reached the third stage of the half-saint realm, the realm where the laws could be infused into the body. In this way, their combat strength increased greatly and they were no weaker than Huang Ling, Yi Dongfang and the others. Yi Dongfang and the others were already in the third stage of the half-saint realm. They had reached the limit of the half-saint realm during this period of time. If they were outside the 100-tribe battlefield, they could have made a breakthrough to the saint realm. All in all, their strength had increased by a large margin. They were waiting for Lu Ming to come out of seclusion. As long as Lu Ming came out of seclusion, they would be able to rush out together. About a month after his second Bodis breakthrough, Bubbles had also broken through. Her space-time domain had transformed into space-time law. Previously, Lu Ming had asked Huang Ling and the others about the 10 strongest laws in the world. The law of chaos was known as the Emperor of the Myriad Laws, so it was naturally one of the 10 strongest laws. The law of reincarnation was also one of the 10 strongest laws in the world. And NBSP, the space-time law, controlled time and space, and was also one of the 10 strongest laws. Therefore, it was extremely difficult to cultivate the space-time laws. Even Bubbles, who was born with the ability to control space-time and had the space-time spinel given by the Titan Longhorn Beetle, had taken a long time to successfully cultivate it, comprehend the space-time laws, and enter the second stage of the half-saint realm. At this stage, Bubbles' combat power had undergone a qualitative change and reached a terrifying level. Lu Ming was still cultivating under the path understanding ancient tree. The step from the chaos domain to the chaos laws was extremely difficult to cross. Back then, the reincarnation emperor had given Lu Ming a wisp of true chi of chaos. After Lu Ming refined it, not only did it greatly strengthen his spirit body, but it also allowed him to truly experience chaos. It would be of great help to his comprehension of the laws of chaos. However, even so, Lu Ming had not broken through after such a long time. A month after Bubbles' breakthrough, half a year after they entered the tomb of the reincarnation king. Buzz. The chaos domain that surrounded his body finally changed. The thick chaos domain disappeared without a trace. At that moment, Lu Ming had an epiphany. He opened his eyes and a smile appeared on his face. With a single thought, an invisible fluctuation spread between heaven and earth. Then, a wisp of chaotic air current swirled around Lu Ming's fingers. The laws of chaos. A strange light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes, as if the air of chaos was flowing. After half a year of hard work, Lu Ming had finally mastered the chaos laws and entered the second stage of the half-saint realm. His strength had skyrocketed. Lu Ming did not know how powerful the laws of chaos were. Time to go out. Lu Ming stood up and took a step forward, appearing outside the mountain and river diagram. After stepping over the bridge of helplessness, he realized that many people were gathered in a circle, as if they were paying attention to something. Lu Ming walked over to Yi Dongfang. "Brother Lu, you've broken through?" Yi Dongfang's eyes lit up when he sensed Lu Ming's aura. Lu Ming's combat strength was already extremely shocking. If he were to break through, he would be even more terrifying. They would be more confident in charging out. "Yes, I broke through by luck." Lu Ming nodded. "Busy." The cry of a phoenix rang out. "Phoenix spirit." Lu Ming's gaze flickered. It turned out that there was a ball of fire burning where everyone was watching. A phoenix was flying in the fire, but Huang Ling was nowhere to be seen. It seems like Huang Ling is going to be reborn. Once she succeeds, I'm afraid it'll no longer be her match. Yi Dongfang sighed. "Phoenix's nirvana?" Lu Ming muttered. "That's right. The bloodline that Huang Ling awakened in the past was the undying celestial phoenix, one of the top 10 war beasts. It's no small matter. After she cultivated into a spiritual body, she started with a low-tier earth spiritual body. However, the undying celestial phoenix body has a special characteristic. She can continuously be reborn. Every time she reincarnated, her spiritual body will rise by a level. It's extremely shocking. After this successful rebirth, her spiritual body will probably reach the stage of a medium-tier earth spiritual body." Yi Dongfang explained, his eyes filled with envy. "This is very similar to my 9-dragon bloodline." Lu Ming's heart stirred. When the bloodline of the 9 dragons first condensed a spiritual body, it was also a low-grade earthly spiritual body. It needed to swallow the spiritual essence of the refined true dragon to be able to advance. However, the undying heavenly phoenix body could achieve evolution through nirvana rebirth. Perhaps, those who had awakened the bloodlines of the top 10 battle beasts were not simple. In addition, in the endless years between heaven and earth, there were some who could stand shoulder to shoulder with the top 10 beasts, or even surpass them. Once that bloodline was awakened, it would be extremely terrifying. It seemed that there were spirit bodies that could evolve continuously like the dragon god combat body. After all, a spirit body was not a bloodline. The bloodline was innate. Once it was awakened, it could be improved greatly. However, the level of the bloodline could be improved through nirvana pills. As for the spirit body, it was cultivated from the bloodline and not innate. It was likely that the restrictions were not that great, so it was normal for it to be able to evolve. The flame became more and more intense, and the phoenix cried out and danced around. However, a day later, the flame seemed to have reached its limit and quickly retracted, revealing Huang Ling's figure. Although Huang Ling's cultivation was still at the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm, the pressure she gave off was much stronger than before. Even Lu Ming felt a trace of pressure. The phoenix spirit's spiritual body had successfully evolved and had reached the medium-grade heavenly spiritual body. The flame was put away and Huang Ling stood up. "Huang Ling, congratulations, congratulations." Yi Dongfang, Xia Ding, and the others all congratulated Feng Ling. Their eyes were filled with envy, but they were not discouraged. The higher the level of the spirit body, the more powerful the spirit body was. However, the spirit Buddha's future achievements might not necessarily be stronger. They also had the heavenly spiritual body and had the potential to break through to the imperial realm. In the future, when they cultivated to the martial emperor realm, it would be hard to say who would have higher achievements. Although the grade of a spirit body represented one's talent, there had been people in history who had reached the peak with their low-class heaven spirit body. Chapter 1654 Chapter 1654 Killing a Great Mastery. Bright Saint Huang Ling nodded her head repeatedly to express her gratitude to the crowd. Then she turned to look at Lu Ming. "Huang Ling, I've just made a breakthrough. Let's rush out today, Lu Ming said, a sharp glint flashing in his eyes. All right, we'll charge out today. The others all nodded, killing intent flashing across their faces. They were all heaven's favorites and were very proud. This time, they were forced to hide here for half a year by the native races. This made them very angry and they wanted to explode. Let's go! Lu Ming immediately took the lead and strode toward the exit. Nearly 500 people followed Lu Ming with an imposing aura. The way out was smooth, and they soon arrived at the passage. As expected, it only took a day to cross the passage. When they crossed the passage, a loud roar came from outside. They're out! Boom, boom, boom. Instantly, a terrifying aura burst out from all directions outside the passage. It was the aura of a saint. There were about 20 of them. These people really didn't want to give up. They had actually waited here for half a year. More than 20 figures stepped in the air, shrouded in saint light. Their auras were as heavy as mountains, and their saint might permeated the air. Kill! Lu Ming roared and charged over. Kill, kill, kill! The other young men rushed over one after another, and a terrifying light of attack blasted forward. Compared to half a year ago, their strength had improved a lot. Die! An expert in the initial Bright Saint realm stared at Lu Ming and attacked him with his palm. You're the one who's going to die, Lu Ming said coldly. He cast the prison-suppressing heavenly art and threw a punch. This punch contained the power of the laws of chaos. Boom! The punch landed on the opponent's palm. The opponent's face changed dramatically. With a scream, his palm exploded. The terrifying force continued to attack the opponent. No! The other party screamed in horror. Then, under this move, his body was torn into pieces, his saint heart shattered, and he died on the spot. Killing an early-stage Bright Saint in one move made the other saints around them gasp. Suddenly, the void rippled, and the space in front of the other initial Bright Sage expert shattered like a mirror. Just like the mirror, the body of the other initial Bright Sage expert also shattered. Another initial Bright Saint was dead. This was Bubble's attack. She had used space-time laws to kill a sage. On the other side, Huang Ling was bathed in the undying flames. With a palm strike, a flaming phoenix flew out. A lower-tier Bright Saint expert was sent flying, spitting out blood. He was seriously injured by Bai Lin in one move. Yi Dongfang, Xia Ding, and the others also unleashed their full power. Each of them could fight with a saint and were not weak at all. With the other 500 Heaven's favorites joining forces, their power was terrifying. When they joined forces, they completely blocked the opponent's attack. You're looking for death. A black-robed elder charged at Lu Ming with a cold gaze. This person was an expert at the great mastery of the Bright Saint realm. A demonic palm print headed towards Lu Ming. Its combat strength was several times stronger than that of a lower-tier Bright Saint. A chaos sky-turning seal suddenly appeared in Lu Ming's palm and he smashed it toward the other party. The Chaos Empyrean seal was activated by the power of laws, and its might was even more terrifying. It directly crushed the other party's demonic palm print. It seems like the other party's peak Bright Sage isn't here for the time being. They'll just kill this fellow. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. His glabella glowed, and Ming Lian stepped out. The Tai Chi formation plate glowed, and a Tai Chi yin-yang fish pattern pressed down on the black-robed elder. The black-robed old man's demonic light burst forth, and he struck out 2 palms in a row, resisting the yin-yang Tai Chi pattern. But at this moment, he was shocked to find that his movements had slowed down, as if he was in slow motion. A blade formed by space slashed across, and a sword wound appeared on the black-robed old man's body. Blood flowed out, and his body was almost cut in half. Kill! How could Lu Ming let go of such an opportunity? With a loud roar, he used the divine sword technique to attack the other party's soul. When Lu Ming had broken through to the second stage of the half-saint realm, his soul had been tempered and he had finally broken through the limit. Now, Lu Ming's soul force was equivalent to that of an expert in the initial Bright Saint realm. Even if his soul power was not as strong as the black-robed elders, He could still affect his opponent to a certain extent when he used the divine sword technique. At the same time, Lu Ming had already appeared beside the old man. Under the old man's shocked gaze, he threw a punch at the old man's head. The old man's head exploded like a watermelon. Buzz! Lu Ming's claw pierced through the black-robed elder's dantian and pulled out his saint heart. His saint heart was as black as ink, like a diamond. It was crystal clear and filled with demonic Tao laws. The saint heart of a saint was a treasure that could be used to refine pills or weapons. It was very expensive in the market. Lu Ming kept it. As for the black-robed old man, he couldn't be more dead. An expert in the great mastery of the Bright Saint realm was killed in just a few moments by the combined forces of Lu Ming, the clone, and Bubbles. Of course, this was because the three of them worked well together. If Lu Ming was alone, his combat strength would not be much different from the other party. It would be impossible to kill him. At most, he would have the upper hand. The Saint Realm masters of the native races were terrified and retreated. This included the other three who had attained the great mastery of the Bright Saint Realm. They had been fighting the other heaven's favorites with all their might, but when they saw this, they felt a chill run down their spines. After not seeing him for half a year, Lu Ming had killed a person in the initial Bright Saint Realm with a single punch. He could even kill someone in the greater Bright Saint Realm. This was too terrifying. Charge! Lu Ming did not linger in the battle. He took the opportunity to break out of the encirclement. Die! At this moment, a deafening roar came from behind them. A thin figure flew over at extreme speed. It was the powerhouse at the peak of the Bright Saint stage. Back in the tomb of the Reincarnation Emperor, this person was injured by the power of the law of a large tomb, and his origin was injured. During this period of time, he hid not far away to recuperate. When he heard the commotion, Lu Ming and the others had already broken out of the encirclement. All of you, enter the mountain and river diagram. Lu Ming shouted and summoned the mountain and river diagram, storing everyone else into it. Even if he teamed up with Bubbles in his second form, he would still not be a match for an expert at the peak of the Bright Saint stage. In the Saint Realm, every step forward would increase one's combat strength by several times. The difference was huge. After keeping the others, the bubble opened a space-time tunnel and Lu Ming stepped into it. The next moment he was already tens of thousands of miles away. After Bubble had comprehended the space-time laws, all aspects of her had naturally improved rapidly. The distance of the space-time tunnel had also increased by several times. Tens of thousands of miles away, the bubble opened another space-time tunnel and Lu Ming appeared tens of thousands of miles away again. After 3 consecutive times, Lu Ming was already 100,000 miles away. Chapter 1655, 1655 Chapter 1655 Yun Kai in despair. The powerhouse at the peak of the Bright Saint stage was dumbfounded when he saw Lu Ming's disappearance. He then let out a furious roar. When he found out that Lu Ming had killed an initial Bright Saint and an expert in the advanced Bright Saint realm, he almost vomited blood. This time, they had failed to capture Lu Ming and the rest. Half a year ago, he was not the only one who was injured. This time, he had even lost 2 experts. After waiting here for half a year, the other party didn't even leave a single hair behind. Their depression could be imagined. Inform all the races to pursue any outsiders in the 100-clan battlefield. In the future, kill any outsiders you see without mercy. The powerhouse at the peak of the Bright Saint stage roared, his killing intent extremely strong. After passing through a few space-time passageways, Lu Ming changed his direction and flew toward the periphery of the 100-clan battlefield. Lu Ming's current speed was extremely fast. He flew across the sky like a ray of light. Half a day later, Lu Ming had already arrived at the periphery of the 100-clan battlefield. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He heard a violent boom in front of him. It was the sound of a battle. Lu Ming flew forward. Not long after, Lu Ming saw 4 young people being chased by a group of exotic beasts. What a coincidence! Lu Ming's lips curled into an inexplicable smile. The four young men were actually Yun Shi and Yun Kai. After more than a year, the cultivation of the four of them had also improved greatly. Jianghu's cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th-level martial royal realm when she first entered the 100-clan battlefield. Now, she had reached the 2nd level of the half-saint realm, which was the same as Lu Ming's. Yun Kai and the other two had also reached the 1st stage of the half-saint realm. But now, they were in great danger, being chased by a group of strange beasts. Yun Shi, Yun Kai, and the other two were very depressed. They had been moving around the outskirts of the 100-clan battlefield during this period of time. They trained in some of the cities on the outskirts, and their cultivation levels had steadily increased. However, more than half a year ago, the natives of the 100-clan battlefield had gone crazy and started hunting down foreign prodigies. They were lucky to have escaped the disaster and found a safe place to hide. They had been hiding for more than half a year. Recently, they had all broken through in their cultivation and wanted to rush out of the 100-clan battlefield and return to the Cloud Emperor Mountain. However, not long after he came out, he was chased by a group of exotic beasts. The combined combat power of this group of ultra beasts was twice as strong as them. They were no match for them at all. Charge out! Yunshi shouted. Her long spear danced like a dragon and blocked the 3 strange beasts of the 2nd stage of the half-saint realm. They wanted to rush out, but the beasts were holding them back. Ah, Yun Kai, what are you doing? Suddenly, an angry roar was heard. It turned out that Yun Kai had suddenly made a move, sending Yun Kai flying with a palm strike. Many strange beasts immediately pounced towards Yun Kai. Yun Kai let out an angry roar and exploded with all his strength to resist. Yun Shi was also furious, using his life to exchange for the lives of the 3 of us. It's worth it. Charge now. Yun Kai shouted, his eyes flashing with a cold light. Yun Kai fought with all his might and attracted a group of strange beasts. Naturally, there was an opening, and Yun Kai quickly rushed out from that opening. Ah, Yun Kai, you'll die a horrible death. Yun Kai roared madly. Puchi. His arm had been torn off by a strange beast. Hold on. Yun Shi called out, and with all her might, she charged towards Yun Kai, sweeping away a strange beast and saving Yun Kai by a hair's breadth. How foolish. If you don't rush out with such a good opportunity, then you can all die. Yun Kai sneered in his heart. Don't let him get away. A mutated beast spoke the human language. Immediately, a few powerful mutated beasts, including 2 beasts at the 2nd stage of half-saint, chased after Yun Kai. Yun Kai's expression changed as he pushed his movement technique to the extreme and flew at top speed. In the next moment, his expression changed because he saw a person in front of him. This person was naturally Lu Ming. Lu Ming, it's you. You've come at the right time. Come and help us fend off the exotic beasts. Yun Kai shouted coldly. A cold glint flashed in his eyes as he flew towards Lu Ming at top speed. It was obvious that he wanted to drag Lu Ming into the water to help him fend off the ultra beasts so that he could escape. He had sinister intentions. There was a faint smile on Lu Ming's face. He was motionless. Yun Kai's face turned ferocious as he charged at Lu Ming at top speed. Get lost. Suddenly, Lu Ming shouted. This voice contained the power of the godly sword technique. Yun Kai let out a blood-curdling screech and his body stopped in the air. Lu Ming took a step forward and passed Yun Kai, appearing at Yun Shi and the rest. Kill, die! Lu Ming shouted again. The divine sword technique was blasted out along with the power of the sound waves, bombarding the exotic beasts. Plop, plop. A large group of mutated beasts fell to the ground, their lives completely extinguished. Lu Ming's shout had destroyed the souls of those exotic beasts, including a few of the beasts at the 2nd stage of the half-saint realm. Yun Shi and the other 2 were dumbfounded. To them, the ultra beasts that could take their lives had been killed by Lu Ming's shout. It was like a dream. Immediately, Lu Ming clenched his fist in the air and formed 3 essential core ribbons. They wrapped around Yun Shi and the other 2 and retreated rapidly. The strange beasts looked at Lu Ming in fear and did not dare to pursue him. Ah, save me, save me. At that moment, Yun Kai let out a heart-wrenching cry. Lu Ming's shout at Yun Kai just now did not kill him. In fact, it did not even injure him. It only caused him to feel pain and stop in his tracks. Now, he was surrounded by those exotic beasts. How could he be a match for those exotic beasts by himself? A few more wounds instantly appeared on his body. Lu Ming, Yun Shi, and the rest looked on coldly. When the strange beasts that had surrounded Yun Shi and the others saw this scene, they immediately roared and rushed towards Yun Kai. Yun Kai felt even more despair as he roared, "Lu Ming, save me, save me. I'm a disciple of the Cloud Emperor Mountain. You can't just leave me in the lurch." Lu Ming shook his head. Yun Kai was really stupid to threaten him with the Cloud King Mountain at this time. One of Yun Kai's legs was torn off by a strange beast. He let out a shrill cry and cried out, "Lu Ming, Yunshi, I was wrong. I was wrong. Save me, save me." However, the next moment, a strange beast at the second stage of the half-saint realm bit off his head, and Yun Kai died unwillingly. Roar! Those strange beasts cast a grave look at Lu Ming, then ran away, not daring to make a move. "Yun Kai, you really deserve to die," Yun Kai said hatefully. Previously, in order to survive, Yun Kai had actually plotted against him and used his life to block the attack. They did not have the slightest bit of sympathy for him. He indeed deserved to die. Yun Shi said coldly. She then looked at Lu Ming and cupped her fists. "Lu Ming, thank you for saving me." Chapter 1656, 1656 9 Heavens and 10 Lands. Following that, Yun Kai and the other young man, Yun Feng, also expressed their gratitude to Lu Ming. In the past, when Lu Ming wanted to enter with them, they had looked down on him. At that time, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the peak of the 6th level martial royal realm. They thought that Lu Ming wanted to use their strength to temper himself in the 100-clan battlefield. But now, after more than a year, Lu Ming was simply unfathomable in their eyes. Moreover, Lu Ming had saved them time and time again. Otherwise, they would not have been able to leave the 100-clan battlefield. "There's no need to thank me. I saved you all because I wanted to use your teleportation array to return to the Azure continent," Lu Ming said indifferently. The 100-clan battlefield was extremely far away from the Azure continent. Without a teleportation formation, it was unknown how long it would take to fly. The Cloud continent was the continent closest to the Azure continent. If he wanted to go back, he had to go to Yunzhou first, which was the closest. Yun Shi, Yun Kai, and the others revealed a trace of embarrassment on their faces. "Let's go," Lu Ming said as he flew out of the 100-clan battlefield. Yun Shi and the others quickly followed. They were not far from the 100 Tribes battlefield now. They flew out of the 100 Tribes battlefield's territory and appeared outside. As soon as he flew out of the 100-clan battlefield, Lu Ming immediately felt that the chaotic laws between heaven and earth were clearer. He could control them more easily and naturally. After all, the laws of the 100-clan battlefield were too chaotic. The saints outside the 100-clan battlefield are probably more powerful than the saints inside. Lu Ming had a thought in his mind. In the 100-clan battlefield, the laws were chaotic. The saints couldn't control the laws as they pleased. The saints outside were definitely stronger than those of the same level. "Lu Ming, let's go to the teleportation array," Yun Shi said. "Wait a moment," Lu Ming said. Then his glabella glowed. A large group of people suddenly appeared, giving Yun Shi and the others a big shock. Especially after they sensed the cultivation of this group of people, their expressions changed even more. The cultivation of this group of people was not weaker than theirs. They were all stronger than them. Some of their auras were as deep as mountains and unfathomable. Heaven's favorites, all of them are peerless heaven's favorites. Yun Shi and the rest widened their eyes in shock. Lu Ming actually had such a huge force. What exactly did Lu Ming experience in the 100-clan battlefield? This group of people was, of course, Huang Ling, Yidong Fong, and the others. The moment Huang Ling and the rest came out, they looked around. The nomological aura here isn't from the 100-clan battlefield. We're out. When they sensed it, They could naturally sense that they were already out of the 100-clan battlefield. They were immediately overjoyed. They were finally out of danger. Although many people did not return in this direction, it would be easy for them to return once they were out of the 100-clan battlefield. All they had to do was waste a little more time. Then, everyone expressed their gratitude to Lu Ming one after another. Yun Shi and the rest could only watch at the side, dumbfounded. Lu Ming, with your talent, you will definitely leave that Song state in the future. After all, that Song state is too small. If you leave that Song state in the future, you can come to the ancient Moon Holy Land to find me. Huang Ling's beautiful eyes flickered and she came to Lu Ming. There was a trace of reluctance in her eyes, but she hid it well. Ancient Moon Holy Land? Lu Ming was puzzled. He had never heard of Ancient Moon Holy Land. You've never heard of it? Said Huang Ling. No, I came from outside the Yuan continent. I don't know much about the Yuan continent. There aren't many records about it in the ancient books of the Tsang region. Lu Ming said. You actually came from the Forsaken Land? This time, not only Huang Ling, but the other geniuses were also shocked. Lu Ming was such a prodigy. It was beyond their expectations that he came from the Forsaken Land. The Forsaken Land? Lu Ming was even more puzzled. Why had he not heard of any of the places that Huang Ling and the rest mentioned? Back then, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master had given him a map of the dozens of states near Tsang Prefecture. Lu Ming, let me tell you about the general geographical division of the world. Legend has it that there are 9 heavens and 10 lands in the world. Legend has it that the 9 heavens are not part of our primordial realm, but the heaven realm. Legend has it that the heaven realm and the primordial realm are twin worlds. The heaven realm is divided into 9 heavens, while the primordial realm is divided into 10 lands. I don't know about the 9 heavens of the heaven realm. After all, they are too far away from us. The 10 lands of the Yuan continent are the land of desolation, the land of crime, the land of 10,000 demons, the land of 10,000 demons, the land of divine beasts, the land of 5 elements, the land of barbarian heaven, the land of 9 serenities, the land of Yuan mountain, and the land of divine destiny. The desolate land refers to the countless islands outside of the Yuan continent. When put together, they are called the desolate land. Huang Ling began to explain in detail. Outside the Yuan continent, in the boundless ocean, the island of the endless continent is actually just a barren land of the 10 lands? Lu Ming was somewhat dumbfounded. That's right. We are currently in one of the 10 lands, Yuan Mountain. Yuan Mountain is extremely vast and incalculable. There are countless forces of all sizes, many emperor-level forces, and countless blessed lands. However, among all the paradisiacal lands, there are 9 places that are the most famous. They are called the 9 Great Holy Lands. Each of the 9 holy lands is a holy land for cultivation. The environment is unique and it far surpasses other places. The ancient Moon Holy Land is one of the 9 Great Holy Lands. In every holy land, there are many powerful forces. My Phoenix Palace is in the ancient Moon Holy Land. In fact, the location of the 100-clan battlefield is within the range of the ancient Moon Holy Land. Therefore, the geniuses who come to the 100-clan battlefield to train are almost all from the ancient Moon Holy Land, as well as some of the large states near the ancient Moon Holy Land and some emperor-level forces. Huang Ling continued to explain. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief, his eyes filled with shock. He finally had a clear understanding of the Yuan continent. Vast, it was too vast. The Azure State was already extremely vast, but it was only one of the many states near the ancient Moon Holy Land. In ancient Moon Holy Land, there was clearly an even stronger force. And Mount Yuan had 9 sacred grounds, so how many continents were there? How big was the territory? However, Mount Yuan was only one of the 10 lands of the Yuan continent. How many geniuses and experts were there in this vast territory? No one knew that in this vast land, every day, there would be experts dying and experts being born. Geniuses rose up, each of them experiencing their own joys and sorrows. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with strong anticipation. The Azure continent was still too small. In the future, he would definitely leave the Azure continent and explore the outside world. Brother Lu, in the future, when you reach the Guyu Holy Land, remember to find me, we can drink to our heart's content. Yi Dongfang said. The Thunder God sect was also in the ancient Moon Holy Land. Immediately, the other paragons also extended invitations to Lu Ming. However, only a small number of forces came from ancient Moon Holy Land. The other forces were all emperor-ranked forces around ancient Moon Holy Land. Chapter 1657, The One and Only Divine Temple, Qiu Yu's Whereabouts. Miss Huang Ling, Brother Yi, Lu Ming has something to ask you all. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and said, Brother Lu, just say it. Yi Dongfang said, Everyone, have you heard of the phrase the only one in the world? Lu Ming asked. Back then, when Lu Ming was still very weak, someone descended into the divine wilderness and took Qiu Yu away, leaving behind the words the only one in the divine wilderness. In Lu Ming's understanding, above the divine wilderness most likely referred to a continent that was stronger than the divine wilderness continent. If it was those small overseas continents like the divine wilderness continent, then it would be troublesome, as there were too many of them and they were hard to find. If it was a force in the Yuan continent, Huang Ling, Yi Dongfang, and the others came from a powerful force and were well informed. They might know, which was why Lu Ming asked. It had been more than 10 years since he parted with Qiu Yu. Lu Ming missed her and wondered how she was doing. The only one in the world? Huang Ling, Yi Dongfang, and the others looked at each other, deep in thought. What's wrong? Miss Huang Ling, Brother Yi, you don't know either? Lu Ming felt slightly disappointed. The only one in the world. The one who dares to be so arrogant and use this title is most likely the only holy temple. Huang Ling frowned. I think so too. Other than the one and only divine temple, who would dare to claim to be the only one in the world? Yi Dongfang said. Where is the one and only holy temple? Is it an emperor-ranked power? Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he quickly asked. Although the sole divine temple is in Yuan Mountain, it's not in Guyu Holy Land, but in another holy land. Furthermore, the sole divine temple is an extremely terrifying force. The cultivators of the sole divine temple are extremely powerful. I heard that there aren't many disciples from the sole divine temple, but every one of them is said to be the only one in the world. For example, a disciple from the sole divine temple cultivates the nomological laws of fire. This person is unique and extremely powerful, able to suppress other geniuses who cultivate the nomological laws of fire. There's only one genius in the world who can suppress other nomological laws by cultivating other nomological laws. This is how it came about. Huang Ling explained. Every single one of them is the only one in the world? Lu Ming found it hard to believe. The Yuan continent was so vast and experts were as common as clouds. Although there were tens of thousands of laws, there were even more people who cultivated them. There were probably many people who cultivated each law, especially common laws like the law of fire and the law of water. Who could say that they were the best and the only one in the world? The only holy temple's tone was too arrogant. The title of the only divine temple is a little too much. There are so many heaven's favorites in the world, so how could they dare to claim that they are the only one? However, I have to say that the people from the only divine temple are indeed extremely terrifying. Their combat strength is terrifying, and there are few who can match them. Said Huang Ling, that's right. I've heard that there are some experts from the sole divine temple who travel the world all year round in search of people with extraordinary talent. They bring them back to the sole divine temple to cultivate and nurture them. Yi Dongfang added. Yi Dongfang's words made Lu Ming's eyes light up. The sole divine temple had experts who traveled the world in search of people with outstanding talent to bring back to the sole divine temple for cultivation. It was very likely that someone would have found Qiu Yu in the divine wilderness. Lu Ming had found some clues. No matter what, he had to make a trip to the one and only divine temple in the future. Thank you, everyone, for clearing up Lu Ming's doubts. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, Brother Lu, you're too kind. I'll take my leave first. We have to report the 100-clan battlefield to the sect as soon as possible to prevent more prodigies from entering, Yi Dongfang said. After that, the others also bade farewell to Lu Ming one after another. In the end, Huang Ling and the people from the Phoenix Palace also took their leave, leaving only Lu Ming, Yun Shi, and a few others. Let's go, Lu Ming said. Yun Shi and the rest nodded subconsciously. Unknowingly, Lu Ming had established a strong prestige in their hearts. This place was very close to the teleportation formation of the Cloud Emperor Mountain. Not long after, they arrived at the teleportation formation and stepped into it, returning to the Cloud Emperor Mountain. After returning to the Cloud Emperor Mountain, the elder who had gone to fetch Lu Ming and the Cloud Dragon Valley Master came to Lu Ming and told him a piece of news. The Cloud Dragon Valley had asked him to pass on a message to Lu Ming. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was busy during this period of time. If Lu Ming returned from the 100-clan battlefield, he could return to the Azure Continent alone. Many thanks, Senior. Lu Ming cupped his fists at the old man. The old man nodded and brought Lu Ming out of the Cloud Emperor Mountain. Then, Lu Ming took out the space-breaking shuttle and flew in the direction of the Azure Continent. The Cloud Emperor Mountain was very far from the Tsang region, especially from the Dragon God Valley. Even the Cloud Dragon Valley Master had to spend 2 days to get there. Given the speed of Lu Ming's low-level space-piercing shuttle, it would take him a month to get back to Dragon God Valley. However, since there were still 4 months before the treasure sealing assembly, Lu Ming was not in a hurry. He could just rush back slowly. While they were on the road, they could cultivate. The higher one's cultivation was, the more numb one would be to time. A martial emperor could live for 10 to 20,000 years. Saints had a lifespan of more than 100,000 years. Some people would go into closed-door cultivation for a few years, or even decades. It might take hundreds or even thousands of years to break through one level of cultivation. A month's time was really nothing. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in the space-breaking flying shuttle. A few storage rings appeared in his hands. Lu Ming had obtained these storage rings after killing a few saints from the 100-clan battlefield. Previously, Lu Ming had not checked and counted. Now was the perfect time to do so. Not long after he finished counting. Even with Lu Ming's temperament, he was dumbfounded. I'm rich, I'm really rich. There were too many treasures and raw gemstones inside. There were more than 100 saint weapons. A total of 150 saint weapons. What a huge number. On second thought, Lu Ming understood. This time, the local saints had killed many heaven's favorites from outside forces. Almost all of these heaven's favorites had a saint weapon. The saints had collected a lot of saint weapons. There were also raw gemstones that were piled up like a mountain. He did not know how many there were. In short, it would be enough for Lu Ming to use for a period of time. I'm cultivating the 10,000 soldier scroll, and I need a large number of holy weapons. I don't lack them now. I'll use this time to cultivate the 10,000 soldier scroll. Lu Ming pondered. Previously, Lu Ming had been focused on comprehending the laws of chaos and had put everything else aside. He had not cultivated the 10,000 soldier scroll. When he was at the 9th tier of the martial royal realm, Lu Ming could seal 12 holy weapons. Now that he had broken through to the 2nd stage of the half-saint realm, comprehended the law of chaos, and even refined a wisp of true chi of chaos in his body, how many holy weapons could he seal in his body? Lu Ming himself was looking forward to it. Lu Ming immediately began to cultivate. He circulated the 10,000 soldiers' art and began to seal the holy weapon in his acupuncture points. The 13th round was completed easily without any feeling. Then the 14th, the 15th. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Lu Ming had already left the Clouds Plains and entered the Azure Plains. Chapter 1658, 1658 Chapter 1658 Meeting Su Lei for half a month. Lu Ming continued to cultivate the 10,000 soldier scroll. The more he cultivated, the slower the speed of sealing the holy weapons became. The more holy weapons there were, the stronger the battle weapon chi formed would be. The burden on his body would be greater. Lu Ming had to take each step carefully and carefully. In the end, Lu Ming successfully sealed 36 holy weapons. At this point, Lu Ming finally felt that he had reached his limit and stopped. When Wan Tiancheng was in the second stage of the half-saint realm, he had only sealed 14 holy weapons. The difference between him and Lu Ming was too great. The battle weapon chi of the 36 saint weapons had reached a terrifying level of power. After cultivating the 10,000 soldier scroll, he began to comprehend the chaos laws and the chaos sky-turning seal. Now, the primal chaos sky-turning seal had already reached the peak of the 5th level. It was not far from the 6th level, the perfected level. Time passed, and another few days went by. The space-breaking flying shuttle was flying in the sky. Buzz! All of a sudden, a dazzling sword light flashed below, attracting Lu Ming's attention. Lu Ming walked to the side of the crystal glass and looked outside. He suddenly raised his eyebrows. He saw a familiar face. Su Lei. Back then, when he was cultivating on the sky-reaching floating platform in the Dragon God Valley, he had a bet with the Silver City of the Silver Dragon Valley. Later on, the Silver City reneged on the bet and even made a false accusation. At that time, no one dared to testify for Lu Ming. In the end, it was the timid little girl who came out and testified for Lu Ming. That little girl was Su Lei. Lu Ming had a deep impression of her. At this moment, Su Lei was being chased. There was a young girl with Su Lei. The two of them fled in a hurry, and more than a dozen burly men chased after them. Lu Ming stepped out of the space-breaking flying shuttle. He waved his hand and kept the space-breaking flying shuttle. Then he flew toward Su Lei. Su Lei, you won't be able to escape today. You'd better obediently follow us back to the SU family, lest you suffer physical pain. Behind Su Lei, a big man said with a gloomy face. Su Lei gritted her teeth and flew forward at high speed without saying a word. Don't even think about it. You despicable people, the young lady will never go back with you. The young girl beside Su Lei said loudly. Little girl, how dare you? What do you know? It's an honor for you to contribute to the SU family if you go back. The burly man roared. Their speed became faster and faster as they approached Su Lei and her husband. Su Lei and the young woman's faces became paler and paler. Junior sister Su Lei, how have you been? At this moment, a clear voice was heard. Su Lei was stunned. Then she saw a young figure in a black robe descending from the sky, his long hair flying in the wind. Lu. Senior brother Lu Ming. Su Lei blurted out in surprise. She did not expect to meet Lu Ming here. Then, Su Lei's expression changed and she shouted, Senior brother Lu Ming, leave quickly. However, before he could finish his sentence, Lu Ming's figure flashed and he suddenly appeared between Su Lei and the burly men. The burly men charged at Lu Ming. The leader of the group shouted, Brat, get lost. With that, he stretched out a large hand and grabbed Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled faintly and waved his hand. A quintessential essence wall formed in front of him. Bang! The burly man grabbed the Zhenyuan wall like an ordinary person's hand. He grabbed a steel plate with all his strength, but he was stronger. With a crack, the burly man's finger broke. Moreover, because they were charging forward too quickly, each and every one of them hit their heads on the Zhenyuan wall. Bang! 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 The scene was very spectacular. The dozen burly men flew at high speed and suddenly crashed into the Zhenyuan wall. Each of them was dizzy from the impact and fell to the ground, bleeding from their mouths and noses. Some people even broke their noses. Su Lei and the young woman were dumbfounded. After a long while, the dozen burly men finally reacted. The leader shouted, Kid, this is an internal matter of the SU family. It has nothing to do with you. Get lost. Although he was shouting, his eyes were filled with solemnness. Although the dozen of them did not attack the quintessential essence wall that Lu Ming had conjured, they were surrounded by their quintessential essence and territory. When they crashed into it, the quintessential essence wall did not budge at all. On the other hand, they were all bruised and battered, looking extremely pathetic. Are you from the same clan as junior sister Su Lei? Lu Ming's gaze shifted to Su Lei. Su Lei blushed and nodded slightly. Boy, did you see that? This is a private matter of the Su family. Get lost. We have to bring Su Lei back to the Su family. The leader of the men shouted. No, no, I don't want to go back to the Su family. Su Lei shook her head. Today, you have to come back even if you don't want to. Brothers, let's attack together. The leader of the men shouted. Get lost. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes and he took a step forward. Boom. The sky rumbled, and a terrifying force charged toward the dozen or so burly men. The strongest of the dozen burly men was only at LV8 Martial Royal Realm. In front of Lu Ming, they were like ants, unable to withstand a single blow. Bang, bang. More than 10 burly men were sent flying, each of them puking blood as they looked at Lu Ming in shock. This young man was so powerful. Su Lei, so what if you have a helper? Don't forget that your mother is still in the Su family. If you don't come back, your mother will die because of you. The leader of the large men said fiercely. Instantly, Su Lei's pretty face turned pale and tears welled up in her eyes. She said, You guys? Don't hurt my mother. You'd better think about it carefully. Let's go. The burly man snorted and turned around to leave. Did I let you go? Lu Ming said coldly. This made the dozen or so burly men's faces turn pale, revealing a look of fear. Senior brother Lu Ming, let them go. Otherwise, my mother, Su Lei said from the side. The dozen burly men quickly flew forward and disappeared. Lu Ming did not give chase. Junior sister Su Lei, what happened? Are those people from the same clan as you? Lu Ming asked. Su Lei pondered for a moment and said, Senior brother Lu Ming, it's nothing. I'll handle this matter myself, you should leave. Junior sister Su Lei, you're afraid of implicating me, right? Lu Ming asked directly. This timid girl was very kind and did not have any schemes. Lu Ming could tell what she was thinking at one glance. Su Lei twisted her hands together and didn't speak for a while. Young lady, what's there to hide? Those people are despicable and shameless. For their own sake, they would sacrifice you, young lady. What fellow clansman? But the young girl beside him said unhappily. This girl was Su Lei's maidservant. Her name was Su Cha, and her personality was the complete opposite of Su Lei's. A sharp glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. Young lady, tell me, what's going on? All right, young miss is kind-hearted. Let me say it. Like this? Su Cha began to talk. Chapter 1659. 1659. The four clans of Gusa City. There was a large city nearby, and it was called Gusa City. There were 4 big families in Gusa City, and the Su family, which Su Lei was born in, was one of the 4 big families. In fact, in the distant past, the 4 great families were actually the same family. Later on, for some unknown reason, the 4 great families split up. The few families that split up changed their surnames one after another, forming the 4 great families today. The 4 families shared the same ancestral land. Every once in a while, the 4 families would send their young experts to compete with each other. Whoever won would be able to send someone into the ancestral land to obtain the opportunities. Moreover, they could still ask for outside help. No matter which family it was, as long as they invited the younger generation, they could represent the family and participate in the competition. After all, relationships and connections sometimes represented strength. Now, it was time for the competition between the 4 races to fight for a spot to enter the ancestral land. This time, the Su family had invited a few Heaven's Pride experts from the deity sect to help the Su family participate in the competition. With the participation of the Heaven's Pride experts from the deity sect, the Su family could be said to have won for sure. However, the Heaven's God sect's paragon had a request. This was because one of the Heaven's Pride experts of the Heavenly God sect had been poisoned by the fiery lotus poison. Su Lei had the mysterious dragon body. The Heaven's Pride expert of the Heavenly God sect had requested Su Lei to have sex with the person who had been poisoned by the fiery lotus poison. In this way, the mysterious dragon body would be able to neutralize the fiery lotus poison. After Su Lei found out, she ran out, which led to the Su family's pursuit. However, they didn't expect the other party to be so despicable as to use Su Lei's mother to threaten them. I see. Lu Ming's eyes were even colder. Where there were people, there would be Jianghu. For the sake of benefits, cultivators would fight for their own benefits. Such things happened every day in the vast Yuan continent. Without strength, one could not even decide their own fate. Lu Ming could not and would not care about other people and other matters. However, since he had encountered this matter, and it was Su Lei who had helped him before, he had to get involved. Junior sister Su Lei, let's go. I'll accompany you back to the Su family. Lu Ming said. Su Lei shook her head repeatedly. Senior brother Lu Ming, this is my business. I can't implicate you. I'll go back and save my mother. You'll go back by yourself. Will you agree to their conditions? Lu Ming said. Su Lei fell silent. Tears welled up in her eyes again, making her look lonely and helpless. With her cultivation level, what could she do if she returned? She could only save her mother if she agreed to the other party's conditions. Let's go. I'll go back to the Su family with you. Su Cha, you lead the way. Lu Ming was very direct. He pulled Su Lei's small hand and stepped on the air. All right. Su Cha nodded and took the lead to fly forward. Now, she could only give it her all. Since Lu Ming called Su Lei his junior sister, he should be a disciple of Dragon God Valley, right? Perhaps Lu Ming was very powerful. Senior brother Lu Ming, Su. There's a saint in the Su family. Su Lei's face was flushed as Lu Ming held her hand. However, she was still worried. Although he knew that Lu Ming was very powerful and had been very powerful since a few years ago, he was definitely no match for those half-saints or even saints. So what if you're a saint? They'll still slap you to death. Junior sister Su Lei, you've helped me before, and I haven't returned the favor. If I miss this opportunity, how am I going to return the favor in the future? Do you want me to repay you with my body? Lu Ming laughed out loud, but Su Lei's face was red. However, after Lu Ming's joke, Su Lei's mood was much better. She allowed Lu Ming to pull her along as they flew towards Gusu City. Gusu City was very big. In the Azure region, it was also a big city with a rather famous reputation. Each of the 4 families in the city had a saint. They were very powerful in the nearby area. Furthermore, the 4 major families were closely connected to the top forces in Song Prefecture. Every time a genius was born, they would be sent to the 13 top forces to cultivate. For example, Su Lei was sent to the Dragon God Valley to cultivate. She only returned to the Su family when it was almost time for the 4-clan competition. She did not expect this to happen. Soon, they arrived at Gusu City. The 3 of them arrived before a huge palace. This was the Su family. Su Lei is back. The eyes of the few big men guarding the door lit up when they saw Su Lei. A few of them flashed and blocked the escape route of the 3 people, as if they were afraid that they would escape. One of them rushed into the palace to report. Let's go. Lu Ming let go of Su Lei's small hand and took the lead to walk into the Su family's residence. Su Lei and Su Cha followed behind. After entering the gate and walking through a long corridor, they arrived at a large courtyard. The moment they stepped into the courtyard, the sound of air being torn could be heard continuously. In the Su family's palace, there were constantly figures flashing over and flying into the courtyard, surrounding them. Su Lei and Su Cha's faces turned pale. Lu Ming had his hands behind his back. His expression was calm and he was calm. Su Lei, I knew you would come back. A sharp voice rang out. Then, a few figures came to the courtyard. At the very front was a middle-aged man in a green robe. He stood with his hands behind his back and exuded a dignified aura. Beside the green-robed middle-aged man stood a young woman. She was quite pretty. At this moment, she was sneering and looking at Su Lei triumphantly. She was the one who had made the sound just now. That's the head of the Su family. That woman is the daughter of the head of the Su family, Su Qin. She's the one who brought the genius of the deity sect here. Su Cha sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded, his eyes glistening as he sized up the master of the Su family. The third stage of the half-saint realm. The rules of the world? Lu Ming smiled faintly. He could tell at a glance that the cultivation of the SUS master was at the third stage of half-saint. However, the master of the SU family was at most a low-grade earth spiritual body. Even if he was at the third stage of the law, he was not worth mentioning in Lu Ming's eyes. As for Su Qin, her cultivation was even worse. She was only at the 6th level of the martial royal realm. The master of the SU family's gaze fell on Lu Ming as well, and he frowned slightly. That was because he could not tell Lu Ming's cultivation realm. However, his brows soon relaxed. Lu Ming should have cultivated some concealment technique. Since he was with Su Lei, his cultivation level was probably not high. There was no need to worry. Master, where's my mother? Quickly release my mother, this matter has nothing to do with her. Since she was already here, Su Lei decided to go all out. She stepped forward and faced the SU family's master. Su Lei, what's the hurry? After you help Zheng Fei get rid of the fire lotus poison, you'll naturally let your mother go. Su Qin, the daughter of the SU family's head, sneered. No, I want to see my mother first. Su Lei gritted her teeth. Su Lei, you are not qualified to talk about conditions now. Moreover, it is your honor to be able to have sex with the heaven's pride of the heavenly god sect. Maybe the other party will take a fancy to you in the future and give you a status. At that time, you will have a meteoric rise. Su Qin said, I don't want to. I want to see my mother. Then, a dagger appeared in Su Lei's hand and she pointed it at her heart. If I don't see my mother today, I'll just die and you can forget about it. Chapter 1660, no need to choose now, you dare to. Su Qin's expression changed as she screamed. The face of the SU family's head also changed. He did not expect Su Lei to be so unyielding. Lu Ming's expression did not change. He was very close to Su Lei. If Su Lei really committed suicide, he had dozens of ways to save her. Therefore, there was no need for him to be in a hurry. He had to see Su Lei's mother first. What's there to be afraid? If anything happens to my mother, you can only have my corpse. Su Lei said firmly, her eyes revealing a determined look. Go and bring her mother here. At this moment, the SU family had instructed. If Su Lei died, she would lose her use. At that time, the Heaven's God Sex Paragon might leave in a fit of anger. They had no choice but to be apprehensive. Yes. Some people were heading towards the palace at the back. Soon, someone brought a middle-aged woman here. Leia, why are you back? Hurry up and leave. Don't worry about me. When the middle-aged woman saw Su Lei, her face changed and she shouted. Shut up. Su Qin berated. Let my mother come over. Su Lei shouted. The master of the SU family waved his hand, and the man let go of Su Lei's mother. Anyway, this was the SU family's residence. Lu Ming and the rest were already surrounded by the SU family's experts. They could not escape even if they had wings. The middle-aged woman ran over and hugged Su Lei. Mother, are you all right? Su Lei put away the dagger and looked at the middle-aged woman. Leia, why did you come back? You've already run out. As long as you return to Dragon God Valley, they can't do anything to you. The middle-aged woman said with a sad face. Mother, Lei can't leave you behind. Su Lei said. Lei, the middle-aged woman's tears kept flowing. Suddenly, she ran to the SU family's head and knelt down, begging, Family head, I beg you, let Lei go. No matter what, Lei is still a direct descendant of the SU family. I beg you to let her go. Su Lei's family was originally the direct line of descent of the SU family and had quite a high status. However, after Su Lei's father and grandfather died in battle, their family's status plummeted. Get up. You said it yourself. Su Lei is a direct descendant of the SU family. I asked her to do this for the SU family. Since she is a direct descendant of the SU family, what's the big deal with sacrificing a little for the family? Moreover, I'm not trying to take her life. I'm just giving her a chance. After all, she's a heaven's favorite of the Tianshan sect. And NBSP, the SU family head, spoke with an extremely cold tone. But in this case, if the other party doesn't want Lei will be ruined. Family head, I beg you, let Lei go. Su Lei's mother continued to plead. It's useless no matter who you beg today. At this time, a cold voice sounded. Then, 3 figures stepped into the courtyard. The 3 young men were dressed in white robes. With one look, one could tell that they were disciples of the Heavenly God sect. One of them had a red face, as if there was a fire burning in his body. This person should be the Zheng Fei who was poisoned by the fire lotus poison. The 3 of them stepped forward. Zheng Fei stared at Su Lei and shouted, "All of you, why aren't you taking down this girl and letting her help me dispel the fire poison? Why aren't you all?" With the fire poison in his body, he felt as if he was constantly being burned by flames. The pain was unbearable, and Zheng Fei couldn't wait to have sex with Su Lei immediately. That's right. You're dragging out such a small matter. If anything happens to my junior brother, don't expect us to help your Su family. At that time, well, go directly to the other 3 families and see how your Su family can get first place. Another Heaven's Pride expert of the Heavenly God sect coldly spoke. The faces of the SU family's master and Su Qin changed drastically. If the Heaven's Pride expert of the deity sect were to help the other 3 families in a fit of anger, the SU family would have no chance. Su Lei, you bitch. Hurry up and take senior brother Zheng Fei away to serve him. If you delay the important matters, not only you, but all of you will die. Su Qin screamed. Su Qin had joined the deity sect, but she was only a small figure in the deity sect. It was not easy for her to invite a few geniuses to help the SU family, and she did not want Su Lei to ruin her plans. Su Qin, don't think that we don't know what you're thinking. You're selfish. When the SU family gets first place and enters the ancestral land, you'll definitely be the one to enter. You're going to sacrifice the young lady to enter the ancestral land. How vicious! Su Cha couldn't help but shout. How dare you, a lowly servant girl, speak to me like this? Slap your mouth. Su Qin's face was cold. She moved and rushed towards Su Cha, wanting to slap him. Su Qin's cultivation was at the LV6 martial royal realm. Although Su Cha had some cultivation, he was only at the LV2 martial royal realm. He could not dodge Su Qin's attack. Stop! Just as Lu Ming was about to make a move, Su Lei rushed out and hit Su Qin with her palm, causing Su Qin to retreat. Su Lei's cultivation was similar to Su Qin's, but Su Lei's spiritual body was much stronger than Su Lei's. It was a medium-grade earth spiritual body, and her combat strength was far above Su Qin's. Su Lei, you dare to stop me? I'm telling you, you have no choice today. All of this is for the SU family. Su Qin screamed. No other choice? Why would I? At this moment, Lu Ming, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke. The others could not help but look at Lu Ming. Kid, what do you mean? Su Qin's gaze turned to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled and a long spear suddenly condensed in his hand. Lu Ming flicked his hand and the long spear shot toward Zheng Fei at lightning speed. This scene was too sudden. No one had expected that Lu Ming would suddenly kill Zheng Fei. The long spear pierced through Zheng Fei's dantian, destroying his spirit god and nailing him to the ground. Zheng Fei's eyes were wide open in disbelief. Never in his dreams did he expect that Lu Ming would suddenly attack him. Then, the light in Zheng Fei's eyes dimmed, and there was no sign of life. The whole place was silent. Everyone was dumbfounded and thought they were dreaming. You? Su Qin raised her trembling hand and pointed at Lu Ming, unable to say a word. Previously, Lu Ming had been standing there without saying a word. Su Qin had almost ignored him. Never in her wildest dreams did she expect Lu Ming to suddenly attack and kill Zheng Fei in one blow. Now, there's no need to choose. He's already a dead man. Lu Ming said indifferently. You dare to kill senior brother Zheng Fei? You're looking for death, you're looking for death. Su Qin screamed hysterically. Zheng Fei's death meant that her plan was ruined. Brat, you're looking for death. Kill. The remaining 2 disciples of the Divine Sky sect were furious. The aura of LV9 martial royal realm emanated from their bodies. Holy light filled the air as the 2 geniuses of the Tianshan sect charged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand and 2 long spears formed, piercing towards the 2 heaven deity sect's paragons. The attack and defense of the 2 heaven god sect paragons were completely destroyed by Lu Ming's long spear. The 2 long spears pierced through their dantians, destroying their spiritual gods. Just like Zheng Fei, they were nailed to the ground. A one-hit kill. The 2 geniuses of the Tianshan sect who were at the 9th level of the martial royal realm could not even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Chapter 1661. 1661. A loud shout, and all of them vomited blood. How dare you kill a Heaven's Pride expert of the Heavenly God sect? The Heavenly God sect will not let you off no matter where you go. The master of the SU family bellowed. The aura of a 3rd stage half-saint surged toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming stood there calmly, not even the corner of his clothes fluttered. Damn it, you deserve to die. How dare you kill the senior brother of the Heavenly God sect? No. Su Qin also roared madly. Her plan this time, her painstaking planning, was completely destroyed. Don't forget that the Heaven's Pride expert of the Tianshan sect died in your Su family. If the people of the Tianshan sect knew about this, who knows what they would think? Lu Ming said calmly. Su Qin, the head of the SU family, and the other members of the SU family were shocked. That's right. The Heaven's Pride of the Heavenly God sect had died in the SU family. If the Heavenly God sect knew about this, who knew if it would implicate the SU family? At that time, the Heavenly God sect would be enraged and the SU family would definitely be destroyed. Damn it! The head of the SU family, Su Qin, and the others were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Not only could they not tell anyone about this matter, but they had to hide it and help Lu Ming hide it. For this matter, you have to pay with your lives. You all have to die. Su Qin screamed hysterically. She had paid an important price to invite the help of the 3 Heaven's Pride experts of the Tianshan sect. Her purpose was to help the SU family win so that she could enter the ancestral land and obtain opportunities. But now, all of it was ruined by Lu Ming. She hated Su Lei for not agreeing obediently. She hated Lu Ming for interfering. Kill them all. Su Qin shouted and gave the order. Kill. The SU family experts around the courtyard pounced on Lu Ming, Su Lei, and the rest. These Su family experts were all high-level martial royal realm experts, and some of them were even half-saints. Get lost. Lu Ming's eyes were sharp as he shouted. Not only did Lu Ming use the divine sword technique, but the sound waves also contained a terrifying amount of vital essence. The SU family's experts who were pouncing on Lu Ming and the rest screamed in pain. Then, their bodies seemed to have been hit by a sledgehammer. They retreated at a speed faster than when they had pounced forward, blood spurting out of their mouths. How did this happen? Su Qin and a few others who had not made a move widened their eyes in disbelief. Lu Ming was too terrifying. With one shout, dozens of Su family's experts, including a few half-step saint experts, vomited blood and fell back. What cultivation was that? What kind of combat strength? Su Lei, Su Cha, and Su Lei's mother were also dumbfounded. Senior brother Lu Ming has become stronger again. Su Lei muttered. A year and a half ago, although Lu Ming's cultivation was strong, it was not as exaggerated. Now, his cultivation was simply unfathomable. Buzz. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning. He looked at Su Qin and clenched his fist. Su Qin screamed and her body flew towards Lu Ming involuntarily. Lu Ming grabbed her neck and lifted her in the air. Father, save me. Su Qin screamed in fear. Release her. The master of the SU family bellowed. He unleashed his cultivation with all his might. The law of wind condensed and enveloped Lu Ming. Have you thought it through? Do you really want to fight me? Lu Ming looked at the master of the SU family. Boom. Then, a terrifying aura burst out from Lu Ming's body. The terrifying laws of chaos filled the air and pressed down on the master of the SU family. And NBSP, the SU family head, felt like he was struck by lightning. His body trembled and he couldn't help but retreat, almost spurting out blood. The difference was too great. In the eyes of the SU family's master, Lu Ming seemed to have transformed into a primordial beast that was undefeatable. The master of the SU family was shocked. His mind whirred. Suddenly, he retracted his aura and actually cupped his fists at Lu Ming. This young master is truly a peerless genius. I was blind before, please forgive me. This action stunned even Lu Ming. The head of the SU family was indeed the head of a family. He knew the principle of judging the situation. Today's matter has never happened. These three people from the Heavenly God sect have never appeared in the SU family. Su Lei's position in the SU family will be like Qin Er's. The master of the SU family continued to speak. He wanted to ease the tension between him and Lu Ming and Su Lei. You change your attitude pretty quickly. Get lost. Lu Ming slapped Su Qin's face and sent her flying. You dare to hit me? Father, kill them, kill them. Su Qin screamed hysterically. Shut up, shut up. The head of the SU family chided Su Qin, shutting her up. Lu Ming smiled faintly. If they were outside, she would have slapped Su Qin to death. However, this was Su Lei's family after all. She still had other family members in the SU family. He could not go too far. He only needed to establish his authority. Young master, how should I address you? The SU family head smiled and cupped his fists. Lu Ming looked at the master of the SU family and said indifferently, Lu Ming. Oh, it's Brother Lu. Your name is Lu Ming? Lu Ming of the Dragon God Valley? What? The SU family head cried out in shock. 3 years ago, news of Lu Ming's battle with the Divine Sun had spread throughout the Azure region. Even some of the bigger forces had heard of Lu Ming's name. Su Qin and the other experts of the SU family widened their eyes in shock. It turned out that this person was Lu Ming. Had Lu Ming become so powerful? If there's no other Lu Ming in Dragon God Valley, it'll be me. Lu Ming said indifferently. So it's Brother Lu Ming. I must have been blind to not recognize the true dragon right before my eyes. Brother Lu Ming, I have a presumptuous request. The family head of the SU family smiled and immediately addressed Lu Ming as his brother. He did not look like he was at daggers drawn with Lu Ming just now. What is it? Lu Ming said. I would like to invite Brother Lu Ming to represent the SU family in the competition between the 4 great families. As long as Brother Lu Ming agrees to it, I'm willing to state any conditions. The head of the SU family said. Lu Ming was stunned. He did not expect the SU family's head to ask him to fight for the SU family. It was beyond his expectations. Su Qin's eyes lit up. If Lu Ming made a move, the SU family would definitely win. It's not that I can't take action, but I have 2 conditions. Lu Ming said. Brother Lu Ming, please tell me. The SU family head was delighted and quickly said. First, in the future, Su Lei and her family will stay in the SU family. I don't want to hear anyone bullying them. Lu Ming said. Don't worry about this. In the future, if Su Lei, her family, and her clansmen dare to bully them in the SU family, I will not let them off easily, no matter who it is. The head of the SU family agreed readily. The second condition is that if I help the SU family get first place, the person who enters the ancestral land must be Su Lei. Lu Ming said. Impossible. This is impossible. Su Qin yelled. Letting Su Lei enter the ancestral land would have nothing to do with her, so she naturally wouldn't agree. The master of the SU family furrowed his brows. He wanted Lu Ming's help more for Su Qin. Chapter 1662, 1662. Can it be resolved? The patriarch of the SU family's expression kept changing, and he didn't reply for a moment. What's wrong? Is this condition very difficult to agree to? Lu Ming said indifferently. Brother Lu Ming, can you change your condition? The head of the Su family said. No need to exchange, this old master agrees. At this moment, an old voice was heard. From the depths of the Su family's hall, an elder with white hair stepped out. Saint! Lu Ming's gaze flickered. This elder was a saint, but he was only a lower-tier bright saint. Forefather. And NBSP seeing this old man, the Su family head immediately bowed. We pay our respects to the ancestor. Su Qin and the rest of the Su family, including Su Lei, Su Cha, and Su Lei's mother, all bowed respectfully. This elder was the pillar of the Su family, the only saint. I agree to Lu Ming's conditions. After the Su family wins, Su Lei will be allowed to enter the ancestral land. She is also a direct descendant of the Su family. If she can obtain the opportunity of the ancestral land, it will be the Su family's fortune. The Su family's Saint Realm ancestor said, Yes, ancestor. And NBSP the Su family head nodded and didn't dare to disobey. Su Qin was extremely unwilling, but since old ancestor Su had spoken, she didn't dare to say anything and could only grit her teeth. Also, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because I'm in seclusion. You're the head of the Su family, so you should think about the entire Su family, not your children. If that's the case, you don't need to be the head of the family anymore. Old ancestor Su continued. The head of the Su family broke out in cold sweat and knelt down in fear and trepidation. Please forgive me, ancestor. I won't dare to do it again in the future. In the world of martial Tao, strength spoke for itself. In the Su family, a saint was the king, and he could decide the family head with a word. In front of old ancestor Su, the Su family head didn't even dare to let out a fart. This girl is very talented. In the future, we will focus on nurturing her. The sage realm is in sight. Do you understand? And NBSP old ancestor Su looked at Su Lei and smiled. Then, he looked at the head of the Su family and his eyes flashed. He was in closed-door cultivation all year round. Sometimes he would be in closed-door cultivation for decades. Therefore, he rarely asked about the Su family's affairs. If he had not been alarmed by Lu Ming's aura and ended his closed-door cultivation, he would have lost a prodigy like Su Lei. With Su Lei's talent, she had the potential to become a saint. It was extremely difficult for a family to produce such a genius. However, the head of the Su family wanted to sacrifice Su Lei in exchange for his daughter's opportunity. And NBSP old ancestor Su's heart was filled with rage. He planned, and it seemed like he had to clean up the Su family. Brother Lu Ming, please. I'll order a banquet to thank you for protecting a genius of the Su family. Suemo said. The old ancestor of the Su family looked at Lu Ming and said politely, You're welcome, please. Lu Ming smiled. Then, he entered the depths of the Su family's residence with Su Lei and the rest. As for the few Heaven's Pride experts of the Tianxin sect, there would naturally be someone to deal with them. Moreover, an order had been issued that if anyone were to leak this information, they would be killed without mercy. After the banquet, Lu Ming stayed at the Su family's residence temporarily. The competition between the four families would begin 7 days later. Anyway, there was still some time before the treasure auction. Lu Ming was not in a hurry. He could help the kind-hearted Su Lei. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. The competition between the four great clans of Gusu City had begun. The venue was a huge square in the center of Gusu City. In the middle of the square, a huge fighting ring had been built. On this day, the square was surrounded by a sea of people. The competition between the four great clans of Gusu City was a rare grand event in Gusu City, so it was only natural that the martial artists of Gusu City would flock to it. There were stands built in all four directions of the square. Lu Ming and the Su family members landed on the stands on the east. After that, the people from the other three families landed on the other three stands. Not long after, the competition officially began. The rules of the competition were very simple. Each family would send 6 young experts to enter the fighting ring together for a team battle. The family that still had people left on the fighting ring would win. The Su family, including Lu Ming, had chosen 6 young men. Su Lei was one of them. Apart from Lu Ming, The strongest among them was only at the 7th level martial royal realm. In the past, the Su family would always invite some external help. However, this time, with Lu Ming, the Su family naturally did not need to invite external help. Buzz, buzz, and NBSP whoosh. From all directions, figures rushed up the fighting ring. There were exactly 6 people in each direction. As soon as the others jumped onto the fighting ring, they started sizing each other up. After that, there would be a chaotic battle. Naturally, he had to observe the enemy well before he knew how to fight. Huh, Su Chi, your Su family actually doesn't have any external help this time? No, only one external helper? Have you already given up on the competition? Haha. A loud laugh rang out. From the south, a middle-aged man sneered at the Su family head. Apart from that person, the highest cultivation among the others is only at LV7 martial royal realm. It seems that the Su family has really given up. Let's eliminate the Su family first and have a battle between the 3 families. A voice came from the west. The people who spoke were the family heads of the other 3 families. Just like the Su family's master, they were all at the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm and had the cultivation base of the law tank. They could clearly see the cultivation of Su Lei and the others with a sweep of their spiritual senses. There was only one exception, and that was Lu Ming. He had cast the illusionary breath technique, so they could not see his cultivation level clearly. However, they did not care too much about it. They did not believe that Lu Ming's cultivation level was very strong. Wait a minute, you'll be the ones crying. A cold smile appeared on the Su family member's face, but he didn't say anything. There was no point in saying anything now. In a moment he would let them know the power of the Su family. The family head has spoken. Well, deal with the Su family first. On the fighting ring, one of the 6 people from the south sneered and looked at Lu Ming's group. I also think that the 4 sides are too complicated. Let's deal with the weakest one first. One of the 6 people on the west side sneered. Then the 3 groups of people stepped forward and pressed toward Lu Ming and the others. Powerful auras bloomed one by one. They were all high-level martial royal realm experts, and each side had several LV9 martial royal realm experts. Among the 6 people of the Su family, except for Su Lei, the rest of them turned pale. 7 days ago, Lu Ming had shown his prowess at the Su family. Only some of the higher-ups and stronger people had participated. These young people had not participated and naturally did not know how powerful Lu Ming was. What do we do? A young man's face was covered in cold sweat. The other 3 families all had external help, and each of them was much stronger than them. Not to mention the 3 families had joined forces. The result was obvious without a fight. Can't you just solve it? Lu Ming smiled and walked to the center of the fighting ring. You don't want to live anymore, what do you want to do? What should we do? A young man from the Su family was at a loss. I want to. Well, just watch. Su Lei said timidly. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.